Hello, and welcome to Myth Mavens. I'm your host, Nemo,
And I'm Roman.
and today we are doing something different. Something,
Yes, this is different. Same locations, very different thing.
something we have loved for quite a while now. That,
Yeah, understatement, I think.
yeah. So today
Um,
we are talking about Percy Jackson and the Olympians, first season of the TV show in particular.
if we're talking about the first season of the TV show, we're also basically talking about all 5 of the original books.
Yeah,
So that's a spoiler warning.
yeah. So there's gonna be spoilers for the first 5 books, and if you don't want to know what
Spoiler
would
alert,
happen,
look bad.
yeah. If you don't want to know what would happen in the later seasons, this is your spoiler warning. Anyway,
Mm.
why are we doing what we are doing today?
Because we were planning on recording this episode this 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
The show comes out tomorrow. Oops.
Yeah, anyway. But yeah, season 1 of Percy Jackson, which was such a blast.
It was such a blast and a rare example of a good adaptation that also remembers that it is an adaptation.
Yes,
And that an
that is
adaptation can change things
Mhm.
whilst keeping the same plot.
that is the first thing, that it is an adaptation, which many people seem to forget, that it has to change
It's
things.
just the usual thing of people want a faithful adaptation of something. That's never It's extremely rare to have a 100% adaptation, and the closest you're probably going to get is a manga to an anime. Those
Yeah.
tend to be closer because they're already in a visual medium. This is also why, for instance, Asterix comics.
Mhm.
Those have often been converted into animated films. Those animated films very often are frame by frame, like exact shots reproduced, because you already have a visual medium to work from.
Also, it's easier to do it in animated medium than in live action medium.
Yes. Which I will argue, I have argued from the start with you,
Mhm.
I would have preferred this show being an animated
Yeah.
show
I think we have
because you can do more liberal things with it.
Yeah, I think we are in
It's
consensus
all,
that animated adaptations of fantasy series are better than live action adaptations most of the times.
yeah, because they have the sacrifice,
Mhm.
which this season perfectly shows.
Yeah,
The Lord of the Rings also perfectly shows that some things have to be cut. The amount of characters from Gondor that have been cut because Gondor got a little bloated otherwise.
yeah. The amount of characters that have been cut, the amount of scenes that were cut, the amount of uh, to be fair, they did
Battle scenes
expand
that were
upon battle.
extended, so there's actually shit going on.
Mhm. Yeah, so obviously there are things that get changed, and most people tend to like it. There are some who are averse to even the Lord of the Rings adaptations, and I know plenty of those people. But yeah,
Mm.
so Percy Jackson. We are gonna go in an episode by episode fashion and talk about the episodes as uh, what they changed, what was good, what was bad about them, and sort of what could have been done more so.
Yeah, and generally we don't have issues with it, with the exception of one episode.
Yeah, I think both of us are pretty much agreeing on the fact that there is one episode that could have been improved severely.
That fell flat,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
rather to how the place looked.
yeah. So, episode 1, perfectly named. I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher.
Yes, which when I first read the book, that chapter title made no sense to me as someone from the Netherlands, because we don't separate mathematics subjects into their own classes. It's just mathematics.
I think
So the title made no sense.
I think I read the UK versions, because when I read it, it was named I accidentally vaporized my maths teacher. So
Mm.
so I was perfectly fine with it.
Mm.
But anyway, good episode with
This
a
is
very good
basic.
opener.
This is a very good opener. I like the additional bits they've put in.
Mhm.
And straight away, a way better start than the fucking film.
I
Because
have
we don't
not seen the
start with
film, so
random shot of Poseidon walking out of ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Which, you know.
I mean,
But
you
yeah, I
can
like
compare it to the films. I don't have any basis because I have
I
not
have
seen the
watched the films to my great regrets.
films. Yeah.
But yeah, the first bit is basically it's basically just literally the opening of the book,
Mm-hmm.
which the fact that we start with narration is extremely rare in a TV show adaptation.
Yeah.
Because typically shows avoid that like the plague because narration is evil.
it's also that narration at random times doesn't make sense. In an opener, definitely, but at
Yeah,
random
this is
times, if
effectively
someone is
prologue.
narrating, you have to completely.
This prologue sets up Percy Jackson as a character in the same way that the prologue of the Fellowship of the Ring sets up the world.
Yeah, very much so. But yeah.
Also, we see Blackjack, so that's great.
Yeah, the first scene having like Blackjack in it with a 5-year-old or 7-year-old, however year old he's supposed to be, Percy watching him. It's just amazing.
I think he's supposed to be like 6 or 7 or 8. I can't. I
Somewhat
don't
of
know.
late age. Anyway, the casting is amazing.
Primary school.
The casting.
Yeah, that's just a young Walker Scobell.
Yeah, I was very confused when I watched it the first time, the trailers, but on subsequent watches, yeah, I could see that it's a different person, but it
is a different person, but it is fun.
It is very fun, yes. Speaking of, they go for a visit to the museum of something. Met, I think.
A New York museum. Nobody can remember but New Yorkers.
Yeah, fair. I think there are two museums,
it's the Met.
and Met, and I get confused between both of them.
It's the Met.
It's the Met, yeah. But yeah, so it starts with that, with Percy encountering Nancy Beaufort, and she is perfectly cast, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I would also like to say, like, the whole thing where we get basically Chiron's monologue about the gods.
Yeah.
Modified slightly to fit a little bit better.
Yeah.
And we very quickly get a flashback. And it sets up a trend where we see young Percy quite a bit in this show.
That, and also a very different take on few things in the show than in the books, that the concept of monsters and heroes, that is perfectly set up.
Yes. Set up in such a way that works far more with the modern view of things, especially what we get in episode 3 with Medusa, which is very different from the original, like the oldest versions of the myth, and lines up far more with Ovid.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the TV show even
it's not the same as Ovid, but
more so than
it doesn't line up perfectly with Ovid, but it is definitely based on Ovid.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it as we get to that that episode. But yes, we
also basically get a thing of Percy. Sally's not an idiot. Is basically this going on. Sally hit Percy, but she did not hide the stories.
Yeah,
she did tell Percy things, which I like a lot more than Percy being completely clueless for still. Yeah. Even in the modern books, he's still quite a bit clueless about various things. It makes a lot more sense that he doesn't know a lot about the minor gods, but sometimes he struggles even with the most famous things.
Yeah, that is something, yeah.
And that is logical from a novel perspective, like a book perspective. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, in the latest books, The Chalice of the Gods and The Rat of Triple Goblins, I feel like Percy's character has been a bit wishy-washy. I don't find it to be the same Percy that ended up at the end of the Percy Jackson and Olympian. But
yes, we can't really go into why that might be, but there are various in-universe reasons why he should not feel the same anymore.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, moving on, we find Mrs. Dodds. Same events as the books, except this time it's in the open.
We're outside.
Yeah. And
they basically combined the inciting incident of Dot's attack with Dot's attack. That might just have been to be like, we may as well just do it to save time. Also, it's a little bit that the entire hall, where like a very famous hall in the Met, where the Greek statue is empty.
Yeah.
And basically it's also a perfect demonstration of just how strong the mist is.
Yes. Because no one sees Dodds transform, obviously, but no one also sees Dodds do anything to Percy, which is something that even in the books, even when later on Ares and Percy are fighting, people do see Ares and Percy fighting, even if it's not with swords. So yeah.
In the notes you sent, you basically like, it seems like maybe the Furies are better at manipulating them. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Hecate is the god, is in control of the myth. She's a chthonic goddess.
Yeah, so I would
on top of that, the Furies would be the type of monsters that would interact with the mortal world a lot.
Yeah.
By virtue of their whole job.
Yeah, that would
So it
make
makes sense that they'd be good at manipulating the mist around them.
Yeah. One major change that we do see is Mr. Brunner has already given Percy his pen and he doesn't take it back.
Yes, he doesn't take it back, which I think is a far smarter choice than the book, but it basically left Percy utterly defenseless.
Mhm. Yeah, and then for
And as we see later on, it doesn't change much about the
no,
fight with the Minotaur.
no, and even in the
In fact, it
books,
makes Percy's actions even more badass somehow.
yeah, definitely, and even in the books, like after the attack of the Fury, Percy then stays in Yancy Academy for quite a bit of time before he goes
Yeah,
back to
probably
his home.
few weeks because he still has
Yeah,
exams.
and
Which really, there isn't much urgency on the part of Chiron and Grover in the book.
mhm, yeah,
They're like, no, we need to keep him here and save him. Dude, he just got attacked by
a Fury.
a Fury.
Yeah,
That is like a top level monster.
yeah. So I like the change of Grover basically snitching on Percy and getting him out of the Yancy Academy, so that he can obviously reunite with his mom, and then they can prepare to get him.
And it's and with the way Grover is introduced as very uncertain, that also fully makes sense for Grover as well, even if he's acting.
Yeah, definitely so. And I like
Percy is shocked that he does it, but he's not that shocked that he does it.
yeah, but yeah, I like the change that yes, Grover and Brenner decided that yeah, we need to speed up this process. Anyway,
yeah, and then we get the Chiron and Percy interaction bit, and it's perfectly good.
Yeah.
I like how Chiron still puts his hoof in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
then
we get to one of the biggest changes from the book, and that's that. Hey, this apartment doesn't look horrible.
It doesn't look horrible, and Gabe is
still a bastard. He's a bastard, but he's a functional bastard.
Yeah. He's still incompetent in most categories.
He's still incompetent. He's still coasting off Sally.
But he is not as horrible as is in the books.
No, and that's the thing of depicting abuse is extremely difficult on screen, let alone in a kid show.
Yeah, and it's easier to imply it in the books because it's one line in like 100,000 words, but like portraying it and doing it justice on the screen becomes entirely different thing, and then you would seeing it on the screen will make you hate Poseidon even more than you already do.
I hate having to use this comparison. Even the Dursleys are not as terrible in the films as they are in the books.
Yeah, and
like they are just plain aren't.
Yeah, and that's just the fault of the medium, because whenever you get to live action, the personalities often soften a bit, so all the extreme personalities become more moderated whenever anything gets adapted, and that's just every adaptation in existence.
Yes, unless you're Hermione and your hypercompetence gets shot up.
Yes, but that's just again the fault of the directors, not really.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, then we meet Sally, and Sally is just as amazing in the show as she's in the book.
Yeah, casually listening to Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, it was a fun thing that we have we have gone from referencing oh my god, who's referenced in the first book? I don't even
Hilary Duff.
Yeah, Hilary Duff to Olivia Rodrigo and
I'll be honest, I had no clue who that was until Mike Schubert started talking about who the frick it was.
Yeah, I did learn about Hilary Duff very later on in life. So yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, Sally, amazing. They go off to Montauk, and Sally again tells him stuff.
Percy and Sally's relationship is strong.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's depicted stronger than it was in the book.
I would say so, because they have clearly had quite a bit of conversation on gods and monsters, and Sally has definitely been preparing Percy, if not
yes, and she's even like prepared to tell him everything. And yet, obviously Percy's not going to believe that your father is a god.
Yeah.
That just makes you sound delusional.
Yeah, and he even calls it out in the show, but then Grover arrives, and he sees Grover being a
satyr. Yes, and Sally's just like, well, we hadn't gotten to that part yet, which brilliant piece of comedy in a very tense situation.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically what happens in here when they go off to the camp and the Minotaur attacks.
We get a delightful chase scene with Bullhead.
Mm-hmm.
It's Asterion. It's the
It's
Minotaur.
Minotaur, yeah. And the same events as the books with Sally sort of teaching Percy bullfighting. That's the name of the chapter.
Yeah.
And Percy showing his strength by basically killing the Minotaur.
Yes, what I also appreciate is Grover is not knocked unconscious and only moaning about food for the most of for this chapter.
Grover is way more competent in the show than in the books, and
Grover is shown as a character who is supposed to be double Percy's age.
Yeah,
he might still be physically young and also mentally quite a bit, but he still should have a crap ton of experience.
Yeah, he is more competent, and he's definitely less of a comedic character than in the books.
Yes, in the book he's very much a let's be honest, they fought the main trio falls perfectly in the Harry Potter trio.
Yeah.
In the section in the first book.
Pretty much. Anyway.
But it's a little different here. They all get their own moments to shine.
Yeah, Sally unfortunately dies with quotation marks around it.
Well, to be fair, even it's a lot more obvious in the show that she was vanished.
Yeah, it's a lot more obvious when you see it than when you read about it that she dissolved in ashes or sparkles or whatever. But yeah, that's where the first book ends.
Yeah, we get the battle basically, and I adore this because it's immediately showing Percy is an insane badass, which is exactly how this battle is portrayed in the book.
Yeah.
It is insane what Percy does.
Yes. And
there is no possible way a demigod who has no experience should be able to defeat the Minotaur.
Yeah, and even in the books later on, Percy says that if he had known how powerful the Minotaur is, he was not going to fight it. But the fact that he doesn't know it and that he has seen his mom just vanish or die in front of him gives him courage and the...
Oh yeah, it's... Basically, I like to call this the he's Poseidon's son, all right, moment.
Pretty much.
Because this is perfectly in line with Poseidon as how he was portrayed in Greek myths. If you piss Poseidon off, run for the hills and pray he doesn't send an earthquake.
Yeah, Odysseus knows about that.
To be fair, that's also Poseidon caring way too much about all his children, even when they're god awful.
See, Poseidon, if you piss Poseidon off, he'll bring you wrath. If you pray to Poseidon, he'll bring you joy. That's what the Cyclops does. He prays to Poseidon and then...
Yes, if you injure his children, he will murder you.
Yeah, this is where... I'll show you Epic someday. I think I've made you listen to it.
I've listened to Epic. Yeah. But yeah, episode 2, because Christ almighty, we need to get through this quicker than we did episode 1.
Anyway, episode 2, I become Supreme Lord of the Bathroom.
The whole section with Dionysus is just fun. This feels fully in character with Dionysus as a character.
Yeah.
He's basically like, I don't want to be here. Ooh, vulnerable demigod that I can take the piss out of.
Yeah, and Percy tries to be a bit respectful, but then goes back to his inconsiderate.
Yeah, I like that Percy's Percy's clearly thinking, oh, mom would want me to be respect. No, never mind.
Yeah, he's not my dad. I can do whatever. But yes, this is basically him being established in the camp, and
I will say this. This is the first example of slightly wonky CGI, in my opinion. It's Chiron.
Yeah, but
that's fine. The thing with centaurs. They are incredibly difficult to do. Similarly with how I'm not expecting much from season 2 with Tyson, because Cyclops.
Yeah, it's the uncanny valley. Like, if it's completely non-human, they look amazing. But it's just supposed to be human with one thing off. It looks very off. And that's what happens with Cyclops and centaurs and all those things. But yeah, that's...
Yeah, it's the logical thing, and they did an incredible job with
it. And but he gets Percy situated in the Hermes cabin, and we meet
Yeah, which
Luke.
the good news is the Hermes cabin doesn't look like it's run down. The bad news is it's still badly overcrowded.
Yeah, there are
Albeit
bunk beds
less so
everywhere.
than it feels like it was described in the book.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, there's no space left except for a tiny spot.
Yeah.
They can walk in this one.
Yeah, and Percy still sleeps on the ground, to be fair. It's just that...
To be fair, there's not enough beds.
Yeah. It's just that it's at least cleaner than in the books. And Percy expects bullying, as he has done his entire life, and that's when he meets his first friend, Luke.
Yeah. Our first friends.
Yeah, and that...
Hiya, Luke.
But yes, we see Luke...
And Luke is portrayed perfectly. This is Luke.
Yeah. I love Charlie Bushnell, and he did an amazing job with Luke, with everything he was given to do.
The fact he has to hide his anger, and you can tell he's hiding anger.
He's hiding anger. He is also very much... he acts as brotherly towards Percy as much as he can. He helps Percy through everything. Even when Clarice sort of antagonizes Percy, he steps in, which doesn't work out later on. But
which makes sense because Luke is supposed to be one of the oldest at camp.
Yeah.
He's supposed to step in these circumstances.
Yeah, and that's what he does perfectly. And that's his ultimate goal as well. He is the fallen hero archetype of this entire series. Someone who has good intentions but goes about it in the absolute worst ways. And ends up where he does. And
yeah, we get an interesting thing afterwards where this is the benefit of not having purely Percy as a character perspective, as a point of view.
Yeah.
We follow Grover as he goes to meet his mother.
It's a
I'm still not sure
of
if
some
that's supposed
form.
to be his mom.
I don't know if it's his mom.
And knowing nature spirits, that could easily be his mother.
Yeah, very much. But yeah, he goes to meet his mom and the Cloven Council. We see the Cloven Council for the first time. And he is apparently...
Yeah, which I appreciate that they introduced the Cloven Council here instead of
book 4.
It's mentioned, but we don't see it until book 4.
Yeah, that's when...
and then they just... But here we actually see it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, those are satyrs, all right.
Yeah, and he's apparently told at the Clone Council about the whereabouts of Sally Jackson, which I don't know why they would tell him that, but okay.
I think it's more a thing of... Hermes is no, neither Pan or Hermes are chthonic, right?
No, you can call Hermes and Pan chthonic. Hermes is definitely a psychopomp, so...
They do have an underworld connection.
They do have underworld connections.
I think it's basically Grover explained what he saw, and they start speculating.
Yeah, that may be it. Yeah, that makes sense. Which is where Grover learns, and then he goes to tell Chiron and Mr. D. And
yeah, and they're just like, do not tell him. We need to focus on the Master Bolt, which is missing.
Yes, I mean,
which.
At this point,
I get that.
It hasn't been revealed that Percy is Poseidon's son, but Chiron and Mr. D pretty much know that he is Poseidon's son.
I fully expect Chiron has always figured that. And with how the children of the gods are typically described, Mr. D 100% clocked exactly whose son Percy was the second he saw him. And then there's how Percy acted.
Yeah, very much.
Which is Poseidon 101.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway.
But because Percy is just Poseidon Jr.
But yeah, that happens. Then we get Percy sort of trying to find the thing he's good at. And...
Well, no. We get one big thing.
Which is?
The dreams.
Ah, yes. The dreams. We didn't
Percy starts the dreams with totally not Kronos.
Yeah. There are several dreams.
And I like how Kronos is portrayed in this. I like it's different from how Kronos is very often depicted. Like the most famous depiction of Kronos is probably going to be the one where he's tearing up. It's the painting of Saturn eating his child.
Apparently, from what I know, and I don't know if it's 100% true, but
and that's probably not even supposed to be Saturn eating his child. I am well aware. But that is probably the most famous image people have of it. But Kronos in the PJO verse is both the god of time. He's
Yes.
not in Greek mythology.
He definitely got syncretized with the
that
other
it-
Kronos, but yes.
No, that's the problem. It's not that he got syncretized. It's the fact that it's the name Kronos and Chronos.
Yes. Pretty much.
People confuse the Titan Kronos with the primordial Chronos.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because Kronos is the god of the harvest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His weapon is a sickle because it's the harvest.
Yeah, yeah. All the Titans, in some shape or form, are connected to agriculture, as you will see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they are all in some form connected to providing for the land.
yeah.
Or providing the basis of society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway.
Themis is law.
Mm-hmm.
So Oceanus is the
ocean.
ocean.
Yeah.
But
anyway, moving on to him having the dream and Kronos basically saying that he'll get to him someday, eventually.
Yeah.
Then
we get the Percy finding out what he's good at, and let's be honest, Percy. I miss the somehow Percy's arrow managed to do a 180 and get itself stuck in Chiron's tail. That is difficult to portray.
It would be difficult to portray.
But I like how Percy is still canonically god awful at archery.
Yeah, the moment he shoots his first arrow, the other Apollo kids go like, "No, don't do it again," which is expected. Anyway, we also get the dinner scene with them offering, making an offering to the gods, and Percy doing the same to Sally, which is an interesting addition.
But it's perfectly in character for Percy.
I quite liked it. And then we get to the bathroom, the namesake of this episode.
Yep.
And it goes exactly as you would expect. With Clarice and her.
And that's when we finally meet Annabeth. We had the bit at the
end
at the very start of Annabeth standing over him, but it's different from the book because they've deliberately left Annabeth out to allow Percy to do things on his own a little, as well as involve Grover more.
Yeah.
And introduce Annabeth later. Annabeth, the way we meet the first, is almost more antagonist.
Annabeth acts quite a bit antagonist in this episode and the next episode until they obviously make up at the end of the next episode. But
which makes sense. Because Annabeth has fully bought into the Poseidon Athena rivalry.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not mentioned once throughout this.
It's not mentioned. It's more that it feels like she's more jealous than anything else. But people who actually know about Greek mythology will connect it. Oh, she's fully bought into the rivalry.
Definitely so. I hope they would mention it, but that's fine. Anyway, Annabeth recruits Percy for the capture the flag, and we get to capture the flag, and it's the same thing that happens in the books, with Percy acting as a bait.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I like how we do miss one big thing at the end of this fight, that there is no Hellhound attack.
No Hellhound. And I think, as I mentioned...
You made the point. You made the point that it's because we want to preserve the sanctity of camp.
Yeah. We want to make the...
I make the point of budgets.
But, I mean, that is definitely one thing, and we can also theorize it being maintained, the sanctity of the place, until we get the big attack in the 4th book. So that...
Well, unless we won't look at the trailer for season 2, where there's clearly a battle at Thalia's tree.
Fair, but I don't think they get to enter the camp. That is something that happens in the 4th
No,
book,
I doubt it.
Which again makes everything way too vulnerable, and that's where we escalate to 5th book, which All Out War.
Yeah, it's especially important. The thing with the Hellhound is especially the thing of it never comes back.
No.
The Hellhound thing comes back with the Scorpion, and that's it.
And since they removed the Scorpion, it makes sense that they would remove the Hellhound as well.
And good thing they removed the Scorpion, because it makes sense. As you point out, it never made sense.
But yeah, Grover.
But yeah, the battle is pretty interesting. Interesting is that Annabeth's armor is far more complete than Percy's.
Yeah, I mean, and even Annabeth helps Percy put on the armor because Percy is way too novice at it.
Which is an adorable moment.
Yeah. It's an adorable moment, and Percy...
But also, the armor is very Greek-inspired. It's even colored bronze.
Very much. Anyway, we get the fight between Clarice and her minions and Percy.
And Percy, wondering what he's good at, shows what he's good at,
Yeah, sword fighting.
which is sword fighting.
Mhm. And he ends up defeating 3 children of Ares who have been fighting for quite a bit.
We just feel it's fewer children that he defeated in the book,
Yeah.
but he didn't have a river this time around.
No. He ends up going to the lake, but he doesn't really use it to his advantage.
Yes. And that's one thing that I will point out. I do feel as a valid criticism of this show.
Mhm.
This show does not. This camp is not in Long Island.
No, definitely not.
It feels like they were like, should we paint out the mountains in the background? Nah.
I mean, that
does fit into my personal theory that camp is basically just a pocket universe.
Pretty much. I mean, we even talked about it in the second season trailer when we see all those mountains. But yeah.
Yes, when we see mountains and coastline that is very obviously not Virginia.
All the climate doesn't make sense, but yes. Anyway, that's a nitpick. That's fine. The capture the flag ends. The Athena team wins, and we find out who Percy's dad is, and it ends up being Poseidon, as everyone knew almost.
Good. Yes.
But
to be fair, rather obvious.
Rather obvious, yeah. I mean, he starts with the pushing Nancy Boba Fett using water, so there's that.
He could have been a member of the Water Tribe.
Yeah. Yeah, very much. Anyway,
I will pull these references out of my ass.
Yeah. Anyway, then
we get the whole. What I like is I think when we were originally awaiting the show, I was expecting the episode to fully end with the claiming as the chapter does in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they did it with, no, we're setting up the quest now, and I fully expect that to continue to be a trend.
Yeah, I think that's going to be, with every second episode is going to end with...
Yes, at the end of every second episode will be the start of the actual main plot of the story, with the first episode and a half being a prologue of sorts to the rest of the story.
Yeah, even in the second season.
Which is effectively what happens in every book.
Yeah, the first 4 or 5 chapters you get the story of them being at the camp, and then you go into the quest proper,
Yeah. God, Walker looks like a baby in these.
But yes.
The jump is going to be hilarious.
Yeah, it's fine. People are way too harsh upon it, which that is why I try not to be as harsh on it.
I think my big thing is they should just have started shooting the second season earlier.
Yeah, it's the trend of today's
It's the issue that these TV shows are all starting to suffer from. It's what Percy Jackson is suffering from. It's what Night of the Seven Kingdoms is going to suffer from. It's what Stranger Things badly suffered from.
Yeah.
Wednesday has suffered from it at this point.
Yeah,
because some characters who are supposed to be younger are gigantic now.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, then Percy is assigned
episode
the quest, 3. But Percy... No, let's end it with the actual thing that happens at the end, with Percy declining the quest until Grover comes and brings up the fact that Sally is in Underworld, which motivates Percy to go on the quest. Now,
that's exactly the motivation he basically had in the book anyway. Yeah,
in the book also
his motivation was explicitly not.
Yeah.
His motivation was not, I want to go
save the
get the Master Ball. It was, I want to save my mom.
Yeah, he even in the books he pretty much figured out that he's going to the Underworld, so there's a chance that Sally would be there. Now he just outright knows that Sally is there, which is fine. Now this change does affect one thing that I even mentioned in the notes that I sent you, which I'll talk about when we get to it. Anyway, why do I keep saying chapter? Episode 3.
Episode 3. We visit the Garden Gnome Emporium.
Yeah.
Which starts with the Oracle, which thankfully does not look nearly as deceased.
And we have the same thing of Gabe coming out and giving the quest. Very much.
Yes, and because we didn't have Gabe's poker buddies, it's purely Gabe doing it. Which I do prefer. Yeah. I prefer that.
Yeah, and we don't want to make the situation more horrible than it already is. so it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Percy chooses Grover and Annabeth. It is instead of them volunteering.
His logic for choosing Annabeth is interesting.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, it makes sense to where Percy is currently in the show. That he would, given that the prophecy that he would be betrayed by his friend, he chooses someone who he doesn't really see as a friend, more of an antagonist at this point.
Yeah, he's trying to limit the amount of friends he has.
Mm-hmm. And then he chooses Grover because he doesn't see Grover betraying him. Even though Grover did effectively betray him in the first
isn't the prophecy
episode.
line, you will be betrayed by one who calls you friend.
Mm-hmm.
That has always been very deliberate phrasing. Because I'm pretty sure it's Luke who says they're friends. More that Annabeth and Grover say they're friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very deliberate phrasing.
Yeah.
It's that typical, oh, it's a prophecy, all right?
Yeah, it's the monkey's paw thing. They're going to find every single get out of the jail free card that they can.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's slightly different than the book where they volunteer instead of Percy choosing, which not a big change in my opinion. It's the quest.
Yeah, this feels like a thing of Chiron wants Percy to be as prepared as possible, so he's going like, you, stand in a circle.
Yeah, those are all I think the cabin leaders.
I figured the idea is that they're the cabin heads, and just in general the most experienced demigods, and then he chooses the girl his age.
To be fair, she's also one of the oldest residents of Camp Half-Blood.
Yes, but she's also his age.
Fair.
And then he picks Grover, who is shoveling horse manure.
Yeah. Anyway, they start to...
Because of course he is.
Yeah, they start to set up on the quest when Luke arrives and gives him the shoes, the Hermes shoes, which will come back at some point. Anyway.
What I also like is the little we were shown of the Poseidon cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Poseidon's cabin, all right. It does feel like Poseidon dumped some random things in there.
Pretty much. I think it might also be the camp, since there had been no Poseidon kid.
No, because it's all fish. Years. It's all seamen's equipment. It's all fisher equipment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
they're all things that you use at sea. It's literally this cabin has been abandoned for 80 years.
Yeah, pretty much. Prior to that, the whoever was here, they might have used it as a summer house. Anyway, then you get to Thalia's tree, and Percy's back to his joke-making self of Thalia meeting a pinecone's fate, which is amazing.
Which is perfectly setting up what we know is going to be the nicknames.
Yeah, very much.
What I will say is it is quite funny how they're taking the Hermes' shoes with them, and it's just a box.
Yeah.
Instead of Grover just outright wearing them.
That's fine. It's okay. He has just been given that.
Yeah, I will say this. Yeah, I don't like the design of Thalia's tree.
It's a very unremarkable.
It's not it's unremarkable. That's one thing. It's also just small. It feels like, and it's standing in the middle of a field, instead of properly on top of Half-Blood Hill.
Yeah, that I think that's just
we get the one establishing shot we get of it in episode 1 is it on a massive hill, and then we see it in episode 3 and it's on a flat field.
The hill is more flat than we thought. Anyway,
like it is a proper, like it's a little rise in the landscape. Which yes, this landscape does look like Long Island. It's flat.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, then they go off. They sit on the bus and they encounter the Fury. Same things, with the bus not really being blasted this time around.
Yeah,
that is a difference.
Sorry, we forgot one thing. There is no Argus.
No Argus, yeah.
Which, probably for the best, that would be a nightmare to create.
I mean, we already are very wary of Tyson's design. Argus would be a nightmare scenario.
Yeah, also, Uncanny Valley would be the worst with him.
Definitely so.
So we just jump straight. So they're in New York City. Oh, they're taking the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have minor disagreements,
And
which
they
is
end
fine.
up in the boreal pine forest of New Jersey.
Yeah, pretty much.
I will not stop about that. It's just funny.
It's very funny. I do agree.
And we begin basically gigantic changes from
Mhm.
these chapters from the book, because both the encounter with the Furies and Medusa are very different.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're focusing a bit more on Annabeth this episode. Very logically, that the Medusa episode will focus on the daughter of Athena.
Yeah, especially given the backstory they have given Medusa makes sense.
Well, just in general, the backstory of Medusa anyway involves Athena to a high degree.
Fair, even in Perseus' story, there's a Perseus story, you do get Athena helping Perseus,
Yeah. So it makes sense to involve her a lot, and also we needed to establish Annabeth more anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
This is one of those things where having multiple POVs helps a lot, but also just this is why it's good. But this is just an adaptation thing.
Yeah.
Of you need to space things out a little.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely so.
We also got a very annoying and very catchy song.
It's pretty good. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And what I like about this is that Mrs. Dodd's Electo is sitting there just calmly waiting. It's so obvious that she knows she can just grab Percy, but she's just waiting. And that's one thing that is so common in Greek mythology. That's hubris.
Yeah, pretty much. Also,
this is pure and utter hubris. And the fact that she's not learned her lesson is also perfectly fitting with how repetitive things can be.
That, and it might also be the fact that Percy hasn't really done anything wrong, so Furies technically have no right to take Percy to Underworld.
No.
So Percy...
The Furies are supposed to follow a very strict code of law.
Yeah. So
that's one of the big things with the Furies.
Mm-hmm.
They are not evil.
No, they impart justice.
They follow the decrees. They are monstrous, but they are rule-following monsters.
Monsters from certain POV, yes, definitely.
Well, it depends on how they depict it.
Yeah, definitely. Then they encounter Medusa, and they obviously know who Medusa is. And
yeah, it's one of those things where the kids actually knowing things about Greek mythology helps a lot.
Especially Annabeth.
The excuse in the books is the excuse in the book of they're hungry and it's magic. Difficult to portray on screen when it's very obvious where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Not admittedly, it's not helped by Medusa just having gigantic statues of monsters in the front yards.
Yeah, pretty much. And
it's however, the monsters that are shown are
quite interesting,
fascinating. Because one is clearly a cyclops, one is clearly a griffin of sorts, and one looks like a werewolf.
Yeah.
Also, one looks like a Batman. Oh, sorry, a man-bat.
You should send me those pictures because I'll include them.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you in a bit. It's like, okay, sure.
Anyway.
But I appreciate how Electo is scared of Medusa.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder. Medusa's power works on everyone. Probably except gods.
Probably, yeah. That would make sense.
But it works on every monster. That will not have helped her mood.
Yeah.
Because that means she can't even look at her own sisters.
Yeah, and even she mentions her sisters, Stena and Uriel, in this episode, which makes sense.
Yeah, and then we go inside, and gosh, the monsters are rather coming, aren't they? She's an entire feast prepared for them.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
But I like what they went with Medusa purely on the basis of, yeah, this falls in line with how Medusa's seen these days.
Yeah,
and considering Ovid's version is the most well-known version these days.
Yeah. It
does not have, however, it does not help with the fact that we are supposed to like Poseidon.
To be fair, I mean, she doesn't outright vilify Poseidon, other than saying that both your mom and I are were
Yes, I think it's
hunted by
more
the
what
same
they've done is
monster.
refrain it a little, where
Mhm.
instead of it's sorry, you're gonna have to put like a trigger warning or content warning in
Yeah,
here. Instead of it being very obvious that even often that is rape.
yeah,
It's more like no, it's consensual. Men just like, we voted to remove my agency,
yeah,
which is very common how it's seen these days. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
stories change. That's
yeah,
the thing.
yeah. As I said to you earlier, that in the books and even in the show, they do go with the Ovid story. The only difference between from books to the show is that they add the fact that uh, Medusa was Minerva's priestess, which is something that has been popularized very
Which
recently. It's not really a thing, even in Ovid's version. Uh,
no, she did. It did. She was violated in Athena's temple.
yeah, they entered Athena's
From
temple,
that, you
and
can you can extrapolate that she might have been a priestess of sorts.
which
You
is
can make
exactly
that
why it has been a
you can
thing
infer that.
recently. It's
Yeah, you
more,
can infer that, and that's a fair thing to do. Like that is a fair thing to do. It's not like some other stories where it's just completely made up.
yeah. There are definitely very many versions of the story that are completely made up, and people still like them for some reason. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, things happen, and they realize that Medusa is not really their friend, so they'll run away from her.
No, and that's the thing. Medusa is a victim,
Mhm.
but she's also going about things in the wrong way.
Yeah,
And it's what Sally was trying to teach Percy: who's a monster.
yeah.
Because but with the way Medusa is portrayed, Perseus was not wrong for killing Medusa.
Again, that is another version of story.
She was willy-nilly murdering people.
Mhm. I don't think that's the original one. The original one, it was just him trying to protect his mom. That's just it.
Um,
He
yes, but it's the most common version of Perseus these days is that he went to kill Medusa, and Medusa has very obviously been killing people.
bad. Anyway, doesn't really matter much. The fact that I was bothered by the most is a good change, a thoughtful change. It's just minor nitpick. The fact that he didn't use a reflection to kill Medusa.
I actually like that they are not using the exact versions of the Greek myths. They are still using their knowledge of Greek myths, but they are using the resources they have available to them
Yeah,
to do it.
yeah, that is true.
Which it's basically going with monsters can learn, and Medusa probably did learn.
Yeah, pretty much, I would say.
Medusa is clearly one of the smarter. Medusa actually has a brain, unlike a certain Minotaur.
Yeah.
However, Medusa might have wanted to invest in I don't know, security more than ominous fire lighting.
Yeah, that was weird. Especially like the
That was
especially the
that was very yes, yep, it's still a TV show. That felt very National Treasure.
yeah, pretty much. It's still our basement, and there are gonna be firelights coming from both sides of the staircase.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah. So they end up again killing Medusa this time very ingeniously with using Annabeth's hat, and that's where
Yeah, that's very clever.
Grover comes in effect, and he patches things up between Annabeth and Percy, which
Mm-hmm.
I quite liked. I liked that the Grover is used more in the show than in the books. Even in the books, he does the same, patching things up between the
In the
children.
book, he's more in the book. This entire scene, he's just comic relief.
Yeah, in this entire scene, he's definitely just comic relief.
What I do appreciate is that they wait until after Medusa's been defeated for him to find the statuified version of his uncle.
Yeah, in the books, that
Instead
is
of
the
being
catalyst for them discovering who Medusa is. But here they know already, so
here,
it's fine.
here it's more of an emotional moment for Grover to realize his uncle did not get far.
Anyway, they
Also, I'm fully expecting a gut punch, by the way, this in the upcoming season. Where, let's be honest, we've not heard anything about Grover's father. He's gonna have been Polyphemus' lunch.
yeah. Anyway, then Percy uses Medusa to freeze.
Yeah, we get the we get the
Electra,
impertinent
yeah, and him
moments.
being impertinent and sending it off to Olympus, which we get introduced to Hermes very early on.
Yeah, which is another fun change.
Mm-hmm.
It
It
works,
works.
in
It's
my
fine.
opinion.
There is one thing that we
It's
will
more a
talk
thing
about
of,
later on.
yeah, this makes
But
sense.
yeah, it
I
overall
like
makes
that we see quite a bit of the gods in this
Yes.
season compared to book one was basically just the Ares show,
Mm-hmm.
with the end being Poseidon and Zeus. Here we get the gods a little more,
Yeah, definitely.
which does help because we're supposed to
Especially-
actually learn about the gods.
Especially
And we're
going
also-
outside Percy's POV allows us to explore these other things, and where we see Hermes
Yes.
this time around. So makes sense.
And I love how Hermes is basically like, yep, this is incredible because Hermes is a jokester.
Yeah.
That is canonical.
Mhm.
He is a trickster god.
Yeah. Pretty much. Anyway, that's
He would love this joke.
yeah, that's episode 3. Episode 4 with I plunged to my death,
Episode 4.
which
Yes.
um,
Where we get, interestingly, swimming lesson, which is very interesting because the one thing I was always expecting Sally to do was keep Percy the hell away from water.
I think
She'd take him to Montauk but not allow him to swim because she'd know Percy can breathe underwater.
yeah, she would have found out. But I don't. Percy doesn't know until he is told by the narrator in here in this.
Yeah,
episode,
which is a
so-
little. It's always been a little weird. Like that would be one of the first things you notice.
But we in the flashback we do see Percy not being willing to to swim, so it might be a thing that he doesn't really do it very often. That might be one of the scenes where Sally tried but wasn't very successful at it. So possibly anyway, and also it's a pool. She's not letting him swim in the ocean. That is a very different thing.
Oh, that would have called every naiad towards him in 5 seconds,
Definitely.
and every narrate,
Mhm.
and every oceanid, and every hippocampus, and every other sea creature. Because by God, through the book show that the sea creatures love Percy.
Also, he would have started talking to them, which would have been extremely weird.
Mm. But yeah, we get little Percy having being shown with Kronos, because as if Kronos wasn't creepy enough. I do like this because, in effect, this flashback does show us that, yeah, Lord of Time.
Yeah, he has been manipulating.
He's manipulating the dreams to be from a younger perspective.
Or he was a looming threat since the beginning. Like, he has been trying to convert demigods. Maybe Luke was the first successful one. Maybe Percy could have been in the same position at some point. Who knows? So, definitely.
I mean, hang on, just looking at it. It's Percy wakes up from the little Percy dream.
Yeah.
So I think it's more that Kronos is manipulating.
Maybe, yeah. That would also be he's manipulating his memory. That is also a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, we get adorable moment between Percy and Annabeth, and yep, that's basically begins the setup for Percabeth.
Yeah. I mean,
this is basically the beginning of it in this show.
I think the first moment we get in the books is
Is the train ride.
Is the train ride?
It's very much the train ride is the very beginning because they open up to each other. It's the truck ride to Vegas that escalated massively.
Yeah, that is a moment that we don't get in the show, which I was a bit miffed by.
No, but we do get the pointing out they are bickering like an old married couple.
That felt a bit forced. Let's be fair. That felt a bit forced.
No, but it is accurate for the.
It's very accurate, but I didn't want it to be.
The funny thing is that Percy and Annabeth have a bickering relationship that works for me, whereas Ron and Hermione don't have a bickering relationship that works for me.
They don't have a bickering relationship because it turns to a verbal abuse very quickly, which is not a thing.
Yes,
in relationship.
anytime with them it's just pure verbal abuse that makes no sense why they would ever fall in love with each other. Whereas this is, oh no, they are teasing each other, except Annabeth is aware of it and Percy is not.
Yeah. Anyway,
but yeah, we get very interesting things where
chat, and then
we get
someone enters their cabin.
Yeah, and it begins the very big changes from this. This is a very weird episode because this is effectively one chapter.
One chapter, yeah.
This entire episode is one chapter.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the entire arch chapter is what is put into this one because they've extended it massively to have a mid-season scary moment, basically.
Yeah.
But it works. I like the way they've depicted Echidna.
Yeah.
I do miss my Echidna joke.
Yeah, I would have liked if there was a Echidna joke.
That's one of the few jokes where Percy actually puts his foot in it properly.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have liked it to be there.
They've removed a lot of the humor because so much of Percy's humor is internal.
Yes, but some of the external ones.
So it's a bit of a shame to remove one of the most obvious examples of Percy really putting his foot in it.
Yeah, I would have liked it to be there. The show is definitely less funny than the books, and now there are reasons for that, which we'll get to at the end. But there are some things that they could have definitely improved, which let's hope they do it next time onward.
Yeah, I would have kind of hoped that Percy in the end was more like annoying Echidna. That would have worked a lot better, but I like the way Echidna is very threatening from the get-go.
Echidna is very threatening. She feels very dangerous. Like, we don't see the Chimera
Instead
until
of
the end, which is...
Yeah, and she is very threatening, but she's not...
She is threatening...
She's not a cackling witch,
She's
basically.
threatening in an Umbridge way, where she's very...
Yeah, she's unsettling.
Yes, she's unsettling.
She's unsettling.
Yeah. Which is very fun.
And and it's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. And here we go with the Percy could... I like this is basically the show admitting Percy could defeat the Chimera.
Pretty much.
Which actually makes sense when it's quite funny with the one hero who we know slew Chimera is Bellerophon.
Yeah.
Who I think in some versions, or in all of them, I can't remember, is the son of Poseidon.
I do not remember. Possibly. Makes sense. He is one of the original heroes, so it makes sense that he would be a son of Poseidon. But yeah.
I think he's a son of Poseidon in some versions, at least.
That would make sense. Anyway.
It's either Poseidon and Eurynomy or Glaucus and Eurymede.
Yeah.
So that's why. So it's actually quite fun. This is also one of those things where it's one of the few times where, oh yeah, Poseidon had children too.
Yeah. Throughout this entire first season, we see Percy emulating very many earlier heroes. So we see him emulating Perseus. We see him emulating Bellerophon. We also see him emulating Theseus at one point. So he
slew the Minotaur. So yes.
Yeah. Minotaur, he also goes to the underworld, just like Theseus and Hercules, or Heracles. But yes. So he, in the first season, it's very much a mixed match of earlier stories. From next season onwards, if we stay with one hero, the
following book is Odysseus in a nutshell.
Yeah, except Annabeth is Odysseus and Percy is more like Jason, but though the good parts of Jason and not the bad parts of Jason, but yes.
Whereas 3 and 4 are Heracles.
3 is definitely Heracles. 4 you can argue for Theseus as well.
Yes, but he's still doing acts of Heracles.
Yeah, 4 is definitely Heracles.
And 5 is his own. But he's also Achilles.
Yeah, 5 is a mix of Achilles and Hector, because then you also get Achilles.
Yes,
he's got the other ones.
He's got the skill of Achilles, but the honor of Hector.
Yes.
Which is the best of both worlds, because Achilles had no honor.
I wouldn't say he had no honor. It's more so that...
Okay, the second he was fully involved with Wrath, he had no honor.
Yes, he got angry very quickly, which is the entirety of Iliad.
That's how it starts.
Yeah, it starts with Maenin, which is
Wrath.
But yeah.
What I was going with is we get the admission from the show that Percy could defeat Chimera by virtue of him being knocked out of the fight.
Yeah.
I have never seen a show be so blatant about we are not sure if we can depict this. We can depict this in a Percy is weak compared to Chimera. The thing is, Chimera is absolutely one of the strongest monsters in Greek mythology.
Yeah.
The Minotaur is relatively low compared to it.
You can say that.
The Minotaur is more just a raging threat, whereas the Nemean Lion, Chimera, and the original Hydra are the true big threats.
Yeah.
Because the Nemean Lion cannot be killed by weapons, the Chimera just has too many weapons, and the Hydra can only be killed in a specific way.
You also get the boars, the Caledonian boar, the Amentian boar, and so on.
They are all, but those are definitely a tier below the big three.
I would say, makes sense.
They're also not well known.
Fair.
The 5 most well-known monsters are going to be the Nemean Lion, Chimera, Hydra, Minotaur, and Medusa.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So I guess and almost all of them he encounters already.
Yeah. Anyway.
We basically get them escaping the train because the Chimera, something, they don't know what's chasing them yet.
Yeah, it's a poodle. We see it run by.
What I like about this is that, you wouldn't make the connection of, the mother of monsters as Chimera in a bag you'd keep a Chihuahua in.
Oh, it's a Chihuahua. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that makes sense. But yes, they get to the arch, and it's slight departure from the books where they just go for a tour, but here they go for a sanctuary.
What you point out was it removes a little bit of the ADHD. I'd actually argue it makes it a more realistic depiction of ADHD.
Yeah, I would.
It changes it's the way the depictions of ADHD has changed over 20 years.
Definitely.
This is less random acts of impulsiveness, more in a I'm distracted.
Yeah, fair. That is
which is also why this is all which we're also gonna get to with the Lotus Hotel. Trust me.
Yeah,
but I like this because it's like, okay,
it also shows
we don't really get Annabeth's architecture focus in the show, but we definitely see it here.
Yeah, given how she talks about the arch,
it doesn't need to be spelled out when she's spouting off facts about the arch.
Yeah.
It's show don't tell. She's effectively narrating it, but she's showing it.
Yeah, definitely. We also see Annabeth sort of this entire scene of them going to the arch also shows how much the gods can be vengeful, which is something we need to set up early, because then it also comes on in later books as well.
It's also a good reminder that Athena can be just as petty as Poseidon.
Pretty much.
It's one of the things where those two gods are mirror images in many respects.
Yeah, you can definitely say that.
Yes, Athena is the goddess of wisdom. She also has metric. She is also so prideful she cannot accept anything else. Arachne is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, another story that comes from Ovid.
Now, Arachne also has a captain of hubris herself, but it's all kicked off because Athena can't take anything.
Yeah, Arachne and Athena is another story that the Ovid version is more popular than the Apollodorus one.
Well, yes, that's because it's Ovid.
Yeah, any story where
that's also what we get. Don't we also get half of Apollo's lover stories from Ovid?
Yeah. Any story
because they involve transformations.
Yeah, any story where you get transformations, there is a very high chance that Ovid is involved. Almost like his book is called Metamorphosis.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So they enter the arch.
But I want to point out we don't get the whole Athena and Poseidon have a massive rivalry spelled out directly, except here. Because Annabeth said it's earthquake proof, so Poseidon can't destroy it.
Very much. But also St. Louis, how many earthquakes are there?
You do realize that the Mississippi at one point, thanks to an earthquake, started flowing backwards, right?
Yeah, did it? I didn't know that. Makes
sense. Yeah.
It makes sense. But yes.
But also, I like how they go into the Museum of the Arch, and we get a bit of Grover's bit of nature, of Pan. And it's like, I'm glad they showed this.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, it's a monument to architecture.
Mhm.
It's also a museum depicting the horrors of Western expansion.
Yeah. Anyway,
So
yeah, that entire scene has quite a bit of growth for all the three characters. But you also see Percy and Annabeth sort of having a loving, teasing relationship with Percy, imitating Athena. But yes, that entire scene is pretty funny. Then we realize that
Percy collapses.
Percy collapses. They try to revive him. Doesn't really work.
Yes, because Percy's powers are going to activate in rivers and seas, not a fountain.
It might work in fountain as well, because definitely there are times when he puts water on himself, he feels better.
Yes, he can
Except
control.
it's
Yeah, but
poison. Except the fact that it's way more potent. It's poison.
he needs to get fully drenched in a powerful body of water,
Mhm.
of which the Mississippi would be one.
Yeah. He falls from. Anyway, later, Annabeth realizes what he's told by Echidna, I think, that.
Well, yeah, we also get this. Yeah, we've been told now by Kidna that Athena is responsible for this one.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, we're not making the godly parents look great in this show so far.
Other than Poseidon, not really.
Even Poseidon doesn't look great so
No.
far, because we've just had Medusa,
Definitely.
which, no matter what, is still partially on Poseidon.
Then they.
But yeah, they see Echidna starts chasing them, and they start going up, and that's when they realize, oh, that's the Chimera.
The design
And
of
it's like,
Chimera.
uh-oh.
Lovely.
Oh, it's still the background of my phone.
Yeah, I think
It's such a good depiction of Chimera. It's very different from traditional depictions of Chimera.
Yeah.
Because the traditional depiction of Chimera, if you were to depict it in a show like this, it would look hilarious.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a lion with a goat head on its shoulder and a snake for a tail.
Yeah.
You cannot make that look intimidating.
Yeah.
So instead, combining all three animals into one.
Yeah, it's a face of the lion. You get the scales of a snake. You get like the goat-like legs.
Poison from a snake.
Yeah, a scorpion-like tail, and so on.
And the horns of a goat, which make it look so much more intimidating.
Yeah, the designs of the monsters are pretty good. I do agree. Later, Percy tricks Annabeth into not fighting it and goes inside, locks them outside. Tries to fight the Chimera, but he is weakened at this point, so he can only do so much.
Yeah, I like how the poison is far more slow acting in this. It makes it look far more terrifying, because we see Percy slowly fall apart.
Yeah, especially given that Echidna is very much feels like a looming threat, that she walks slowly, she dominates every scene she's in, and the actress is amazing. She has a presence about her.
Yeah, that's why it makes me annoyed that we never see Echidna and Chimera again in the books.
Unfortunately, we'll never get.
It's actually kind of weird. It almost feels like, because in the books it's Zeus who's declared to be responsible for this, which never made much sense to me.
I mean, yeah.
You know he's on his way west to find your bolt, and you decide that you want to kill him anyway. Way to show your petty, Zeus.
To be fair, Zeus, I think, thinks at this point that Percy has the bolt and he's going to get it to Hades.
Yes.
So that is there as well.
But what I do just imagine is Zeus just threw his own lightning bolt at them once he got the Master Bolt back.
Yeah.
Just to hide the evidence from Poseidon, because Poseidon would not have appreciated this one. And that's a very common feature. If there's a lot of fanfics out there where the characters read the books, a very common feature is Poseidon getting really mad at Zeus for sending Chimera after Percy.
I hope we see Echidna later.
Fair enough. Similarly,
when they fight Typhon.
Poseidon getting pissed at Hades. Sorry?
I hope that we see Echidna later when they fight Typhon in the 5th book.
Yes.
That is one place we can see Echidna.
Yeah, because they're going to be struggling to depict Typhon, because it's supposed to be a storm. Yeah. What they could do is just all the monsters. Yeah. All the various monsters being sent out by Typhon, and that's what the gods are fighting. like they are the vanguard of Typhon.
That would make sense.
And obviously, the most logical thing would then Chimera would be fighting Athena,
That also makes sense. Yeah.
which also works a lot because then you can recreate the way Bellerophon killed Chimera
With the
because it's a
liquid.
spear, and Athena is known for wielding a spear.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Anyway, things happen.
also I'd forgotten how big Chimera is.
Yeah. But Percy falls off the arch and is grabbed by water. Nice change from the books where he just falls.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's a nice change because in reality, the arch is not directly on the water.
Mhm.
Rick just didn't know that.
Which is a funny change, but yeah, makes sense.
It makes sense. It also makes it a more direct intervention from Poseidon.
Yeah, given what happens later on in the next episode, makes sense. But yeah, that's where the episode ends as we move on to episode 5.
Yeah,
which-
it ends with the arrival of the narrator.
Yeah. Episode 5, which a god buys us cheeseburgers. And
Yeah.
it starts with Percy talking to narrates, and the narrator asking Percy to breathe, which is finally where he learns that he can breathe inside water, or even if the water is extremely dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Which they maintain that bit from the book. But yeah, Percy.
Yeah, and they don't go fully in the how polluted the river is fully.
Mhm.
That's because that's an internal thought.
Yeah. We see it being dirty, and that's fine. We are told that Poseidon is going to meet Percy at Santa Monica, and that Percy becomes happy that his father is finally meeting him and helping him.
Yeah, it's a change.
Mhm.
It's a good change.
It's a good change. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's one of those things where in the books it's always been Percy really only fought for Olympus because of his friends.
Mhm.
Here we're establishing a little bit more that no, some gods do care.
Yeah.
And we see that with another god in this episode.
Yeah.
We see it with Hephaestus.
Yeah. Which I
Some
pretty
gods
highlight
do
that.
care. They are just hamstrung by the rules.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which also makes sense why Athena would not be one of them. Because Athena would be a rule follower.
Yeah, makes sense. And another thing that happens is Annabeth sees the fates instead of Percy, which, given that the fates signify Luke's death, it makes sense that the change was made with Annabeth instead of Percy.
Yeah, because Percy has no context.
No.
It's a very imposing image at the start of the story, but he has no context. Annabeth can start figuring things out.
Yeah. Especially.
And it's still the fates. They are still mysterious cookie women.
Pretty much. Yeah, I like that they are.
They don't
dressed,
give a damn.
I like that they are dressed in like tracksuits.
I like how they keep the gods have decided to wear different clothing things, and it's so hilarious. Yep, the old grannies are wearing hilarious clothing.
Yeah,
that doesn't fit whatsoever.
Yeah. I do like the depiction of fates in Chaos that we watched. But yeah, that
Gosh, should have had a second season.
It was such a good show. Anyway, but yeah, that happens. Then
it's one of the rare. It's one of the rare shows where you adapt Greek mythology, change it massively, and it still works.
It works, and you're not just rehashing or reiterating and telling the same. Well, they are telling the same story. They are telling the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, but in a different way. And I quite like.
Whilst also involving other things.
I quite like most of the changes that.
Also, most of the actors in that show are just destroying the scenery with all the chewing they're doing.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, moving on to Percy Jackson. They meet up.
They re-encounter each other, and adorable Huck is adorable Huck.
Yeah, and Grover sort of awkwardly stands there.
Yeah. You can start to tell why everyone in the books knew exactly where this was going between these two.
Yeah.
And then they start walking, and it's just like, oh, come on.
I mean, they don't have any means. They are wanted at this point.
Well, yes, but in the book, they still continued on with the train to Denver.
Yeah. Thankfully, they are encountered by Ares, and
Yes, Ares, who I find is really funny. He's just wearing a helmet.
I mean, he
It's
is
the most.
he is a tactician god, but at least he
Mhm.
still follows the rules of the road. uh,
Yeah, and I also with the way Ares looks,
mhm.
he is still absolutely intimidating. They still got the Hulk of an actor,
I love Adam Copeland.
but
Edge.
he doesn't look in his prime.
No.
And that's something I have noticed about a lot of the gods in this show. They do not look in their prime. Most of them look. The only one who puts up a picture of being in his prime is Zeus,
Yeah, makes sense.
who put up an image. But they are all relatively old looking.
Yeah, one thing that is a change that
They look weak.
Mhm.
They almost look weak.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a thing.
Which is going to be interesting because next season, in season 2, we're going to see Athena, another god who would absolutely put up a front of being in control.
Yeah.
And in season 3, we get Artemis, who would also put up a front of being in control by always looking young.
Yeah, we might also get Hera, who would also do the same, probably.
And Apollo. We still don't have an Apollo casting.
No, I don't know. We haven't seen really an Apollo casting yet, which is weird.
It makes me feel we might not get Apollo.
That, but then there is no other way they can include Apollo in the later seasons, and they'll definitely want to include Apollo at some point. So
yeah, it's a bit weird.
Anyway, then they obviously encounter Ares. He takes them to a diner, and he starts a Twitter fight, which
well, takes them is a generous way of saying it. He forces them to walk.
pretty much. But yeah,
it's still Ares. He's still a jerk.
Yeah, that is. Speaking of Ares, there is one change that I don't know how they could have depicted it, but the aura of the gods that affects the mortals around them.
Impossible to show on screen.
On the screen, I completely agree.
The only thing they could have done was show Percy getting visibly angrier and angrier and angrier. Yeah, Percy's already pissed off. He's a son of Poseidon.
Yeah. So he then sends.
We get the perfect we get the perfect adaptation of modern social media into a story created before social media.
Yeah.
How are we going to do Gabe being a jerk?
It's the same thing that happens in the books with Gabe badmouthing.
It's the same thing that happens in the book.
But yeah.
But they're doing it via live streams. They're doing it via Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And unsurprisingly, Ares likes to start online fights.
Yeah. Then
the most unsurprising thing this century.
Yeah. Then he sends Annabeth and Percy off to do things. Well,
oh, sorry. I do want to point out Ares looks so proud when Percy's I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Ares looks so proud. And that makes sense. Ares is a war god. He's also just the reality of war. So of course he'd still find killing hilarious.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah. Then Percy and Annabeth go to find his shield from the amusement park. And Grover stays behind.
One of them has to stay behind. I like this because it gives a moment for Percy and Annabeth to really bond.
Yeah. Also,
another. My God, the interactions between Ares and Grover.
I love them. Like
these are this is perfectly written.
Yes, the fact that Grover is not the butt of every joke, that fact that he is employing his experience with the gods to get Ares to basically reveal all the truth. It's quite funny.
Yeah, because Ares is not a smart god.
No.
That's one of the big things. Ares is war.
Mm-hmm. He is.
Athena is the study of war.
Yeah, it's the tactician versus strategist debate that everyone has. Who's better? Anyway, that's a different thing.
But I also like how he butters Ares up utterly.
Yeah, talking about the niche
by mentioning various random wars, which course he pulls out these ones. I found that really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew some of those wars.
Yeah, I think I knew about the lobster war, but that's about it. Anyway, then Percy and Annabeth go to the amusement park, and they quickly realize that it is Hephaestus's park, made by Hephaestus, given the entry thingy. And then
Yeah, and I have a criticism of the show here.
Mhm.
It falls into the same trap as many shows. That is too dark.
Yes,
You can barely see anything.
yeah. I feel like I don't know. I don't know why they go this way, because the only thing you need to depict the dark really is a black night. You can light up things, especially given it's an amusement park. You can definitely light up things. Uh, I don't know why they didn't really light it up. Um, they do light it up later on when they enter the tunnel of love, but that's about it. But yeah, what happens? Yeah, they enter the tunnel of love. Song plays, which is amazing. That entire scene was brilliant.
Yeah, I went, oh, for the love of everything.
But we also get entire Hephaestus' story through that entire tunnel, with Hephaestus being kicked by Hera and then rejected by Aphrodite and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And they crash. Percy saves Annabeth. And this is where we realize that a trap has been set for Ares, but now they are here, so it's for them.
Yes, and I like how this is a different trap from the one that was originally the one that trapped Ares and Aphrodite, because why the hell would they fall for that one again?
Yeah, very much. It's the same trap that they had set for Hera, but now it's for Ares. So, and one of them have to sacrifice themselves. Percy does, as you would expect Percy to do.
Yeah, that's one of the things where Percy's character has been sharpened.
Mhm.
His self-sacrificeness is higher.
Yeah, he's definitely more self-sacrificial, especially given he wouldn't have done that 3 episodes ago. But the fact that Annabeth and him have gone through the past 2 episodes with Medusa and Echidna and all those things, and they bonded over talking about parents, and how Annabeth shared her life story. So now Percy has come to a point where he trusts Annabeth, and that's why his fatal flaw is he is loyal, and out of that loyalty, he's going to sacrifice himself rather than Annabeth, and he does so. And Annabeth does
You'd
not
sacrifice yourself before saving you'd sacrifice yourself before sacrificing a friend.
Yeah, and Percy asks.
It's going to make Athena's words about his fatal flaw more logical, because his fatal flaw is loyalty, but we don't really see the consequences of that often enough.
We only see the consequences of it in really Heroes of Olympus, which we don't want to talk about. But yeah, makes sense. Percy asks Annabeth to go to Underworld and free. Annabeth says that she'll free his mom, but Annabeth does not leave Percy after Percy has been trapped, and she tries to get him out of the chair, but nothing happens, and that's when the maker of the chair arrives. And
yeah, who was absolutely there, ready to film it and send it out on Hephaestus TV.
Pretty much, but thankfully we didn't get that, because that would have definitely ruined the moment.
Yes,
very much so.
Yeah, and the thing about why did they not do the spiders? It's
Again,
like
it's a very ruining.
That's impossible. One, very hard to film. Two, you do not want to run the risk of your TV show running into the 100 kids screaming because there's thousands of spiders on screen.
Yeah, it's easier to write it, and those who want to imagine it can imagine it, and not want to imagine don't want to imagine do not imagine it. But it's another thing to just put like thousands of spider on the screen. Like there are very many people who have turned off the second film of Harry Potter because of the spiders. So
or skip the Shelob scenes.
Yeah.
In Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, very much. So again, that's the thing that happens. Especially given Annabeth is pretty much, given she has arachnophobia, she's dying in that moment, and that is being live broadcasted to Olympus. That would have it makes a very weird contrast in the scene that you don't know what to think. Do you want to feel sympathy for Annabeth, or do you want to hate the gods? And you can absolutely do that at the same time, but you need one emotion to be proper, and that comes out in this version way more than
Yeah.
in the books. So I like the change.
Yeah. And we get a wonderful. I wasn't. When the show was first announced, we were not expecting Hephaestus to show up in season 1.
No.
But I like it because Hephaestus would be the one of the only one of the 12 who could probably relate to the demigods the most.
Yeah, given he was also sort of rejected by his own family, so makes sense.
Yeah, and depending on the version, Dust of Olympus either by Hera or Zeus
that
doesn't
keeps happening,
matter. His parents are both jerks.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, Annabeth gives a very wonderful speech, and Hephaestus ends up releasing Percy because of that. He also says that he'll put a good word for Annabeth to Athena, which I don't think it matters to Annabeth very much at that point, but something.
No, but it will help with Athena, especially because it would make a lot of sense that Athena would have a decent relationship with Hephaestus.
Yeah.
Craftsmanship, the forge,
yeah,
that
weaving,
very those are very connected to each other. They're both creative
concepts. Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, then they return, and Percy gets in the face of Ares, just like in the books, and Grover tries to stop him. Obviously, they get on the truck, and that's when Grover reveals that he knows who stole the bolt, which is obviously half truth at this point, given we don't know who exactly stole the bolt. But yes, that's how the episode ends, and it's a very good episode.
Yeah, this is. I think the last episode is the best one, but that's because I'm biased towards Olympus itself.
Definitely so, and we'll talk about Olympus
because,
definitely at the end.
But episode 6, good God, we really need to get through this.
Yeah.
How long have we been recording for?
Episode 6.
An hour and a half, and we are at episode 6.
We take a zebra to Vegas, and they obviously it's the same things happen. They get to the truck.
Well, we get another dream, and it's the dream where Kronos realizes Percy's watching.
Yeah. And he's talking to Luke about giving the bolt, and then he surrendered it to Ares, except naming.
Yes, and he does. And I was wondering how they were going to do that, because in the book, Percy doesn't recognize it. If we'd heard the voice, we would have recognized it straight away.
Yeah. So it's good
so
that
they've done a clever. Yeah, they did a clever job of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Grover figures out that these are traffickers, so he helps the animals free themselves as well.
Well, first of all, we get the first I am of the series.
Yeah, the first I am of the series makes sense.
And I get why they didn't do Mist.
It might get a bit weird with how the CGI works.
It's difficult to do in live action because of the way you need to do. Like you effectively had to CGI the entire thing anyway.
Yeah.
But they want to do what they've said before is they did this practically as much as they could.
Yeah.
So yeah, and yeah, it is also the case of you only need a rainbow.
Yeah.
That is what is needed to summon Iris because she's the rainbow.
Yeah.
So of course, just light would work.
Yeah.
Because that's what a rainbow is. The reason why you need water normally is because that's how you do the rainbow. But you can do that with glass and mirrors.
Prism, whatever. But yeah, that happens. They talk to Luke, and they conjecture that Clarice is the one who stole the bolt.
Which, yeah, of course. And again, the fact that they encounter Luke is just logical. That's just the thing of because we get the same as we get in the book. Camps falling apart.
Yeah.
Because the war has started to begin, basically. We never in the book, we don't go see the consequences of it in the show. We don't see the consequences of it at camp.
No.
So that's fine.
Again, we'll come to a change that is made at the end of this episode. That should be more consequential than the books. but somehow it isn't.
Yes. Well, we do hear. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that, yeah.
We'll get to that because we do hear some
Mhm.
things. But
Yeah, Luke tells them why they are bickering like a married couple, which, yeah, as I said, it feels a bit forced, but okay, fine, do what you gotta do.
yeah, but also just the way they're talking about these monsters, and Luke is just standing there.
Yeah.
To
be fair,
I feel like I do
know.
feel like Luke is probably more to distract himself of the which monsters?
Yeah, we know that Luke is someone who wanted to claim glory, and somehow he wasn't able to.
Oh yeah, he's at this point his relationship with Percy is already dead in his eyes
Yeah.
because Percy has so far defeated far too many
Yeah,
monsters.
more like the one quest.
Percy has already achieved more as a demigod than any other demigod since World War II, basically.
Yeah, and the one quest that Luke did go on, he failed pretty much. So at this point, yeah, he is very jealous of Percy in a way. Anyway, that ends. They get off in Las Vegas, and
Yeah, they released the animals, and I feel like I get why they didn't show Percy talking to the zebra,
Mhm.
but it does feel like they didn't call Poseidon the father of horses,
No.
so
Yeah, they're leaning away from.
they
this.
better keep. If they don't have Blackjack talking at some
that
point,
would-
I will
oh,
be pissed.
Yeah, people will be very
Pissed.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, they get off at Las Vegas and they go to the Lotus Casino.
Yeah, what I like is that the animals are released and Gerson. Oh, I gave them sanctuary.
Yeah, which
The animals casually walking around all of Las Vegas,
which is something he does in the books as well, where he gives them sanctuary so that he can reach their home.
Mm-hmm. Yes, none of these animals came from North America, but sure. It's a safe. It's supposed that they can go to a safe spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go to the Lotus Hotel. And again, it makes sense that they know what it is. Because it's like that is one of the more famous. That is one of the famous bits of the Odyssey.
Yeah.
And also, it's not subtle. The Lotus Hotel and Casino has never been a subtle place. It's a casino in Vegas.
In the shape of a lotus with lotus fruit shaped sweets inside. Yeah. Anyway.
Which I did feel like, yeah, I did like. Why do they still fall trapped to this thing? Because ADHD in parts.
In parts, yeah.
This is a perfect depiction of how you can get distracted.
Also,
and the way they've integrated into, well, how are we staying here? The air conditioning system.
Yeah.
Because the hotel updates.
Also, the fact that they quickly assess that they don't want to eat anything, but that not being the case and it being pumped in the air is a very nice way to trap them without really dumbing down the characters. So,
but I also like this. Yeah, Grover is still on it until he starts talking to the other satyr.
Yeah, and
that's when he gets distracted, and that's when the magic takes effect on him.
Yeah, and that's when he is fully engrossed in this video game where he's about to find Pan.
Yeah.
Which is what.
Whereas Percy and Annabeth remain relatively focused because they are focused on one thing.
Yeah, but they also
get to Hermes.
They also end up forgetting Grover in some fashion.
Yeah, because they're not focusing on Grover. They are focused on getting to Hermes.
Yeah, and they find Hermes, and this is a change that is both good and bad. Because
this is a change of Rick created Luke's backstory in book 5, but we kind of need Luke's backstory earlier.
That and the fact that the stuff that happens in season 3 or book 3, Hermes would know that. Especially the fact that after the D'Angelo just staying at the Lotus Hotel. So.
Oh, he's probably noticed them and he's like, if Hades has put them here, he's put them here for a good reason.
Yeah, and even he here shows that he listens to the gods. Like how Poseidon told him to not be involved too much in his son's life because he'll end up making it bad, and he got involved and made it bad. uh, but yeah, seems like the fact that, especially given Hermes is a psychopomp, he is probably the most closest Olympian to Hades. So him,
well, he's the one god who constantly travels between.
yeah. So it makes sense that he would probably know about the D'Angelos than the other gods and the other people.
Yeah, and there's also this whole thing of why would Hermes be hanging out in the casino? One, he's definitely not hiding from the upcoming war. Two, he probably did not get the reaction he wanted from delivering Medusa's head to Olympus.
Yeah.
And three, this is the perfect spot for him to hide because it's a gambling location, which is something Hermes would adore.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because he's a trickster god.
Yeah.
The only other god who would also be at home is Dionysus, because it's one big party.
Yeah. Anyway, they talk to Hermes. Hermes basically shows Percy one of his memories where he is not really obedient very much of Sally, and how he ends up hurting Sally a bit. And he tries to do the same to Annabeth, but Annabeth obviously is very adept at dealing with gods. and doesn't really interact with Hermes, and ends up going and then coming back invisible to steal his keys, which Hermes knows.
Yeah, you can't steal from the god of thievery.
Yeah, he probably wanted to give them the keys, but he saw Annabeth taking it, and he's like, "Well, you have already taken it."
He's probably just like, "Yeah, sure enough."
And then they find Grover, and they realize that it has been far too many days, and the deadline has passed.
Yeah,
probably the biggest change from the books, in my opinion.
This is easily the biggest change in the entire season, and I like it. It has a consequence. I like it because it's one of those things where, yeah, this war should not start this, and the world ends. No, this war would have a slow build up.
Oh yeah, they'll gather their armies.
Basically, instead of having the thing where Zeus is already throwing a hissy fit at the start of the book.
I mean, Zeus has been throwing a hissy fit for 6 months at this point, so he's very patient.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's not deliberately killing mortals yet.
He's not. I don't think.
What we get in episode 8 is when we hear a radio message. It's showing that the world, that natural disasters are escalating rapidly. And what we get at the end of this episode is that Poseidon has gone to marshal his forces.
Yeah, the other.
Which means Poseidon is preparing an attack on Olympus.
Pretty much.
That is the only place he can attack.
He might also be preparing his forces to defend his domain.
He might be, but Poseidon at this point is fully out to win this.
Maybe.
He's basically banking on Percy to get peace because he doesn't want this war, but he will fight to win. And in my opinion, Poseidon would defeat Zeus in a direct duel. Especially if Zeus doesn't have the Master Bolt.
Probably, yeah, that would make sense.
Zeus has the strongest weapon of the three.
But Zeus is also
the Master Bolt is without a doubt the most.
So he is already.
Zeus has the strongest god. Yeah, Poseidon is the strongest of the elder three by virtue of the sheer amount of domains he has.
Yeah.
He has storms, the sea, and earthquakes.
Poseidon?
He has dominion over all three territories.
Yeah, Poseidon, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Zeus is only the sky.
No, but Zeus also gets like human affairs. He gets
yes, but that has bugger all impact on godly affairs. It has bugger all effect on godly affairs.
I think it's stupid to do power ranking in gods.
Well, yes, but if we're looking at who's probably going to be the stronger purely on what they actually have access to, Poseidon is stronger, especially when you look at what each of the three brothers has as a weapon.
Yeah.
Hades can hide and have shadows because underworld.
Yeah, he also has the bident, but
Zeus gets a weapon that can create nukes. And Poseidon gets a triple pointy stick.
To be fair, Hades gets a double pointy stick, so there's that as well.
Yes, but Poseidon gets a triple pointy stick.
One more point.
He gets a stabby stick.
Yeah.
Whereas Zeus gets a thermonuclear device. Because that is how it is described in the book.
Yeah, pretty
It
much.
can create a thermonuclear explosion.
Pretty much. But yeah, where were we?
Poseidon is clearly like this change is now the war has started and now shit's going to go bad.
See, my
fast.
biggest problem.
The entire the entire thing is the end of episode 6 to the end to the midpoint of episode 8 is 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
Zeus has not yet started destroying everything. I would also like to point out Zeus is sitting on Olympus alone.
Yeah.
When Percy encounters, there's not a single other god in sight.
Yeah. My biggest problem with this change is, and something I even sent to you in the notes, is that the change is made so that Percy can choose to do the quest and not really be forced to do the quest, which is what he was until now. He was forced to do the quest.
Mm-hmm.
Now he makes his own choice to give him the choice to do the quest. But
it's the whole it's a thing of free choice.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Percy was already going to continue the quest no matter what, because he knows that Sally is in the underworld. So he didn't need extra.
But his focus wasn't. But his focus wasn't on getting the Master Balls. If Percy had gone to the underworld and could have only gotten out with Sally, he would have only gotten out with Sally. This reframes his focus of I need to get the Master Balls. Absolutely, I have no other option.
That's a one way to look
it
at
reframes it's a thing of he's only going in for Sally. Now he's going in for both because he has no other options left.
And that's okay. So that's where the
now it's gone for Percy. It's now become real. Like, great, I can get my mom out. It won't matter
because the world is going to shit. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That does convince me for the change somewhat.
But also, like, Poseidon has basically been waiting there. I don't think Poseidon has been marshalling his forces. I have a feeling he's been leaving that to Delphin and Triton.
Pretty much. Anyway,
and now we get to episode 7.
Yeah. So
the worst episode of the season.
Yeah.
By a long shot, in my opinion.
I would say definitely. So because it starts with so episode 7 is titled "We Found Out the Truth," sort of.
They should have got Procrustes. If you're going to do this instead of Charon, cut Procrustes.
Yeah, as I mentioned to you that they should have definitely kept the Italian suit wearing Charon because that shows the affluence of
the transition of Charon from Italian businessman to skeleton.
Yeah.
Is incredibly creepy and fitting for the underworld. The underworld is still supposed to be scary.
It's scary, but it's also affluent. And that is something that does not come off in this episode.
This entire episode, basically, what we see of the underworld is just not the Greek underworld.
It's deserted.
It's not even that. It's not even hell.
No, it's very much something.
It's just
between.
blank.
Yeah, it's something very much in between.
It's limbo.
Yeah.
It's limbo.
Mm-hmm. Like Fields of Asphalt.
Hades lives in limbo.
Yeah, like
because the entire underworld may as well be described as Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, it's the first level of hell. Or the second level of hell. One of those. I don't remember the hell levels.
It just doesn't look like the underworld. It's not at all like it's described in the book.
Not at all.
Not even remotely.
Yeah, they completely forgot that Hades has the wealth. Well, he's
to be fair,
had the wealth in the Greek.
The wealth aspect is more Roman than Greek.
Yeah, but still, in the books it's mentioned. So I would hope that they take some interest.
Yeah.
Another thing that is mentioned in the books that Hades is the only god who feels godly to Percy.
Yes.
Because he has that presence of being like self-important.
To be fair, that is before he's seen Zeus as well. That is before he's seen Zeus as well.
After Hades, he meets Zeus, and then Zeus is also on the same level. But other than Hades and Zeus, the other gods are very much in the friendly manner.
Yeah. Yeah, and we also we don't get the fun of the underworld section of the book.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get the whole thing of the whole description of the stakes. We don't get the whole pavilion of the judges,
No,
which feels
it's
like
weird.
yeah.
It's not the Greek underworld, not even close to it. The only thing that makes it the Greek underworld is Cerberus, and that's about it. Um,
And that there's a gigantic waiting line. That is straight out of the book.
Yeah.
That there is a gigantic waiting
yeah,
line.
that's fair. That is also what pisses off Hades, because his domain is getting overpopulated. That is something in the books as well.
Yeah, what I do like is that all people who are just standing there waiting to be processed are all different walks of life, all kinds of things. However, it did feel a little like I was watching the Beetlejuice musical. That also has a very similar thing where there's random people with all kinds of causes of death. And then Charon is just not Charon.
Charon is not just Charon. Like, Charon has no, but
We're not getting the comedy. We're not getting Charon almost falling for bribery.
But also, it's the fact that it's the obsession of Hollywood in depicting death as this like skeletal figure with big robes and a scythe for some reason. That's
Well,
they have
yeah, but we
envisioned
also
for
like the whole thing is the entrance to the underworld is hidden at a record place in the heart of Hollywood.
Yeah,
that's cool. We don't get that. It's just a random shop
it's
in
a
LA.
random stop for some reason. Procrustes is guarding.
Why is Procrustes guarding the underworld?
Why? There's nothing to do. Yeah, he's also defeated very quickly, and as I have also mentioned to you, the show is very much less brutal than the books as well. Which, yeah, fair. It has a wider audience, so makes
Yeah,
sense.
but then we've got full get Grover getting eaten by Cerberus.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's weird. It's especially given.
Yeah, and we didn't mention it. They have 4 pearls. Oh no, one of the pearls got swallowed by freaking Cerberus. What was the point?
I mean, to be fair, we definitely did see that coming, but also it establishes Poseidon as somewhat caring of a lover / father.
Yes, but it just felt a really awkward way of getting rid of it.
Yeah, I do agree.
And again, it's just not the underworld.
No, it's
because, and then we get into where we get the first shot of Hades' palace, and
before
when it says in the book that Hades' palace is a mirror reflection of Olympus, it did not mean it's upside down.
Yeah, they took it very literally. Also, the fact that Annabeth is not with them and she is whisked away because of.
Oh, we're not even there yet. We got the first step. We got the first establishing shot after Cerberus.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, even in the next scene when we get to Asphodel, we learn that it is.
That's not Asphodel.
That's not Asphodel.
That is not Asphodel.
People are not in Asphodel because
that is the forest from Dante. That is the forest from Dante. It's a forest of regrets. That's Dante.
Yeah, it's.
We don't even know why Annabeth gets stuck there. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, I mean, if they expand upon it in the next season and all, fine. I will take that.
But it still doesn't make sense because it's not Greek mythology.
Exactly, it's not Asphodel.
It's not even Roman mythology. It's the fan fiction of a Catholic writer.
Yeah.
It's an
yeah, it's.
For God's sake, Dante is led through the layers of hell by Virgil.
And he finds figures from Greek mythology there, with Odysseus being in the 8th circle of hell.
Yeah, but most of the heroes are in hell.
Yeah, all of those on the Greek side are in hell, definitely. Almost like they had a.
And it's like, yeah, this entire thing is, it's just not Asphodel. No. Asphodel is described as Kansas. It is fields upon fields upon fields of people standing.
Yeah.
Asphodel is supposed to be depressing because of how enormous it is.
Mhm. Yeah, it feels like
It's just
they copied the same sets that they used in that one episode of Moon Knight when they're in Duat.
it's just not the underworld.
Yeah.
Like we get the Kansas joke, but it doesn't work without us seeing Kansas.
Yeah. And to be fair, Percy says we are not in Kansas anymore, which is fine. He's just quoting
and
Wizard of Oz.
and Annabeth doesn't understand a thing about references, which is logical.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, Annabeth is now gone, and it's just like, okay. And then the wall walk from Asphodel to Hades' palace, where they walk past the pit.
It's a literal
desert?
giant pit.
Yes, whereas in the book, I don't think it's a literal giant pit. It's
a cave.
It's a cave. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why is this a desert?
Yeah.
And I know the answer. And it's the entire. This answers the entire episode. They fell in love with the volume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The 3D imaging thing that they can use to make it cheaper to film without building a set, because it's very obvious in the palace scenes.
Yeah.
It's also very obvious in the Olympus scenes next episode, by the way.
Yeah. Actually, Olympus at least looks good.
Yes, because it looks old and ancient and crumbling.
But
another symbol of Olympus's power wane.
The way they changed Olympus, which we'll talk about in the next episode, is good. The way they changed Underworld is not good at all.
It's just not the Underworld.
Anyway, let's move on. I will dwell on this Underworld for very long.
Yeah, we get the discovery of the Master Bolt being in the backpack. Mm-hmm. A slight change.
It's fine.
But I love the design of the Master Bolt.
Yeah, the Master Bolt design is amazing. It's not your glass thing, a literal lightning.
Mm-hmm.
It's made of celestial
bronze.
Yeah,
and it feels like it could have been made by expert craftsmen.
Mm-hmm. It feels like celestial bronze
which
or
is
gold, whatever.
Supposed to be the case. It's supposed to be made by the 3 Elder Cyclopes. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they get to Hades' palace.
Well, no, we in the meantime we've had like flashbacks to Sally and Percy, with Percy not being allowed to enter school, blah blah blah, and then we get a very interesting thing. Sally sitting at a bar, and she's considering doing something.
Yeah,
we'll get to that, because now we have to enter the ugliest palace in mythological history.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it a bit. Why is it completely black? Why do you have to blacken everything that is Underworld? Why is there no color?
Yeah, and it's like, well, we get like the gods, but it's like, but they were Marines in the book.
It's okay.
Skeletal Marines.
They are trying to.
But these are
stay away
medieval halberdiers.
Yeah.
In Crusader armor.
Yeah. To be fair,
which begs all kinds of questions.
To be fair, they are trying to stay away from some of the imagery that was in the books, which is good in my opinion. Especially even in the season 2, we see in the when Clarice is approaching.
Yeah, Clarice's crew is not made out of purely Confederates, which is for the best.
Yeah, so there are some imagery that has been taken out, but even then, this entire palace is lifeless for some reason. Especially you have Persephone, who's the queen of the underworld, who's also sometimes attributed as the queen of...
Deeply associated with flowers.
She's associated with flowers. She's not really the spring bearer as many.
She's not a flower goddess, but she's associated with flowers.
Yeah, she's associated with pomegranates. We don't see a single pomegranate tree. I would have expected a sort of a gardens at the very minimum, but there's nothing like that. It's stupid. Anyway, I like the Hades actor. As I said earlier,
the acting is good. It's just not Hades.
Yeah, it's, as I said, he doesn't exude that presence that Zeus does later on.
He doesn't exude confidence. He exudes awkwardness. I also don't like how the thrones of Hades and Persephone are placed. Hades' throne is directly on the stairs, whereas Persephone's is to the side. Whereas Hades and Persephone are absolutely supposed to be equals in the underworld.
Yeah, they're both equals. So I have no idea.
But yeah, Hades' throne looks a little bit like it's the slit of his helmet,
Yeah,
and Persephone's looks like a flower.
yeah, which is the only imagery
That is good imagery. But this is the throne room of Hades?
No.
Most of it's exposed.
Yeah, it's
This is the place where you'd want dark maroons.
dark maroons. Yeah, pomegranate color. The dark maroons would be amazing. Red, gold,
Pomegranate motifs
gold lacing
everywhere.
Gold lacings.
The prophecies that are on the entrance are not there. The fact that Hades' palace has an ancient depiction of a nuclear explosion is very interesting, because to me that always indicates the fates were involved. Because that's the only people who could have seen nukes coming.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah.
But then here comes Hades in his bathrobe.
Yeah, they have a tete-a-tete, which it doesn't feel like anything that you would expect from.
The fact that
I can see what they're
out of the three brothers, the most relaxed is Hades.
I can see what they're
the one who should be the most stressed out of the three of them.
See, I can see what they're trying
who's supposed to be overworked because he's the only one of the three who has no major subordinates.
No.
That's one thing that's very true about Greek mythology. Zeus has all the wind gods. He has the muses. He has all the Olympians. Poseidon has an entire court worth of gods. Hades has relatively few because the chthonic gods are all very independent.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not to say that. What was I saying? Yeah, it's the entire conversation with Hades. I can see what they're trying to do with Hades. They're trying to make Hades a better parent than he is in the books.
But that kind of removes a bit of the conflict with Hades, which is that he has to learn.
Yeah, the entire fact why Nico is so independent is because Hades doesn't give a shit. Well, he does, but not in a very fatherly way.
He doesn't know how to care, which is the thing with all the gods.
So that.
But yeah, we get this, and then we get to Hades' little setup behind the throne.
Why? Why is there a tea room beside Hades?
Yeah. I want because they use the volume, they would have had these sets prepared very early on. It almost feels like they didn't have an opportunity to change it anymore.
Probably. Yeah, I have no idea why it's.
The reason I say they fell in love with the volume is because everything is wide open. They wanted to show the expense of the place.
At the cost,
but that doesn't work.
Yeah, at the cost of the details, which there aren't any. Anyway, that happens. Percy realizes what has happened, how Ares tricked him, and where the
that in the book that is also what Percy figures out. Yeah. The whole plot is figured out by Percy. But I feel like they were afraid that it wouldn't be strange with Annabeth there, that Percy would be the one to figure it out. And it's like, but in the book, Percy figures it out anyway.
Yeah.
And it feels natural. I think it's the fact that we lose the internal monologue that they wanted Annabeth out, because otherwise Annabeth would have logically been the one.
Yeah, she would have figured it out earlier than Percy, but that makes sense. And that's when Percy makes a choice to find Hades' helm and return it to Hades, so Hades can return Sally back. And he goes off, leaving Sally, effectively failing the quest, which is where he will fail the quest comes in.
You will fail to save what matters most in the end.
Yeah.
But then we go back to Sally in the flashback.
And that's where.
And she lights a match.
And puts it
I want to know why, in God's name, a restaurant, like a bar-like place, just has matches lying around.
Yeah, I mean, it might be because they are out of lighters and there are people who smoke cigarettes. I don't know.
Hmm.
You can
But yeah,
justify
she
space.
does that, and immediately thunder rumbles. The room darkens a little, which tells me that it's not directly Poseidon being in the room.
Hmm.
And then Poseidon enters, and we finally meet Poseidon in the show
Yeah.
via a flashback. And this could be read as Poseidon is always there for Sally in no matter what. I think it's more Sally is not willing to involve Poseidon in anything
Yeah.
unless she's desperate.
Yeah. I mean,
And she is desperate here.
she.
The only reason she will not have done like anything to put Poseidon in the whole run from Montauk is there was no time.
Yeah. I mean, she does say that she wants Percy to figure out who he is before Poseidon's family tries to tell him what they want him to be, and that includes
Mhm.
Poseidon. Sally does mean even Poseidon there because she doesn't want Percy involved and taking sides in the gods' war and effectively lowering the worth of mortals that gods do feel
Mhm.
in a way. So yeah, fair.
Yeah. What I will point out is the fact that it's that she mentioned like a winged horse followed him to school. And like, well, one that's blackjack. We can now interpret this as Poseidon and blackjack,
Yeah, could be.
which does work because blackjack will be Poseidon's many times great grandchild.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pegasus is the son of Poseidon too,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird to think about.
Yeah, Percy's brother.
Oh yeah, don't forget Percy's personal horse is his nephew. Yeah, but what I mentioned about the gods, they all look a little bit worse for it. Poseidon is not wearing a Hawaiian shirt. He's still wearing like a shirt, but he's not looking as whimsy.
No.
Even Poseidon looks older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, obviously, the male gods in general are depicted older more often than not in Greek mythology, especially the elder 3.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
But it's very interesting how the gods look older. Olympus looks like it's crumbling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are
Or the oldest parts of Olympus look like they're crumbling.
Yeah, we are shown that this world, magical world that we're introduced to, is definitely not doing well, and that is sort of the premise
and
of
that's
the entire
a good
5 books, that
Mhm.
they're not doing well. They need changes, and who brings about those changes? Percy.
But yeah.
Percy does.
And now we get to
Final episode.
episode 8 and the Ares fight.
Yeah, episode 8. The prophecy comes true.
Very well done. It's a very well done battle. And what I like is that we started with them walking towards Ares, and then we finally get sword fighting lessons with Luke.
Yes.
And I appreciate that I think we were very confused why it was cut from the original, like from episode 2, because it made no sense. That would have been logical. This works better because we then get the immediate follow-up.
Yeah, with Percy immediately challenging him to single
combat.
combat.
And it lures us into a false sense of security with Luke.
Yeah. And I think
because now we've seen Luke training.
Yeah, Luke training Percy, and Percy uses that training to defeat Ares. Now, another thing that I mentioned to you, that in this fight, how Percy deals with Ares all on his own, where in the books he emulates Diomedes, like injuring Ares with the help of Athena, with Annabeth helping Percy, but in the show it's Percy all on his own, which does.
So I think it's more the implication that in the show it's also Poseidon more directly helping.
Yes, with the wave, definitely. But
in the book, the wave felt very much Percy's doing.
Mm-hmm.
In the show, it's very much Poseidon.
Yeah, which is
helping
why
Percy.
They definitely cut out the Annabeth helping Percy scene. But I would
have
wanted
to strengthen because I think they felt that they strengthened the relationship between Percy and Annabeth enough, but they needed to strengthen the Poseidon Percy connection.
Fair.
Which, admittedly, is relatively weak in the books.
Yeah, it doesn't really develop very much until you get to the conversation between them in the last book, which is where it really takes off.
Yeah, and like, yeah. Also, the boar is missing from the fight. Yeah, because budget.
That's fine. I don't really mind it that much.
But I like that Ares is flustered after the wave. and he loses because of that, in the same way he does in the book,
Mhm.
effectively.
Effectively, yeah.
And I like this because, yeah, Ares is an incredible warrior. He's also very easy to distract.
Yeah, he's very like
He's
hubris,
he's
as we
easy
talked
to
about earlier.
anger and making mistakes.
Yeah, he makes mistakes. His own hubris leads to his fall, which is when he underestimates Percy and what he can do. And we have seen what Percy can do. He can challenge
Yeah,
it.
and good work with detail. Ares bleeds gold.
Yeah. And then he sort of pops off, and everyone averts their eyes, same way that they do in the books. So makes sense. And then we get a very nice scene.
Sorry, I can't remember. I don't think
He does. He does.
Does he curse the blade?
No, I don't think so.
Which is good, because that always felt very stupid. Ares does not scream like a god who would curse you for defeating him.
Yes.
Especially not... Ares is not the smartest god, but he's not dumb.
No.
And Ares is, even in the books, Ares is definitely on the side of the gods. He's just being manipulated.
Yeah, definitely so.
But yeah, I'm glad about that, because that felt like the weak... it felt like a convenient way of not having Percy fight Atlas too much in the end.
Yeah, but we can just show Atlas being an incredible warrior, and
Yeah.
Percy sort of making the split-second decision to save Artemis rather than just having himself fight Atlas. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and then we get... But the fact is, we're not on the beach in LA. We're at Montauk.
Yeah.
Which I like that switch. It means that Poseidon sends him to a safe space.
Yeah. Also, we are closer to the camp, so we don't have to fly.
We don't need the we don't need the very awkward flying. Yeah. However, as Percy enters the cabin, we hear on the radio that most of the country's airspace is closed because of violent seismic activity
and thunderstorms.
It tells me the war has started. It's just not fully active yet.
Oh.
But the fact it's seismic activity means that Poseidon is acting.
Yeah. I mean, they have... Okay. They are gods. They have all the time in the world to wage war. So they are not going to be hurry into it. They are definitely going to build it slowly. Yeah, that's what...
But yeah, the two things we hear are, one is storm and one is seismic. That means Zeus and Poseidon are already going at it.
Yeah. So the first thing that you would
and
see...
they are not paying attention to Percy.
Yeah, the first thing that you would see with gods is the weather activities that would get more and more violent, and that is what we are told. So it makes sense. Then Percy goes to the Empire State's building, and...
But we have Elector.
Yeah, he returns the helm to Elector, which Ares left to him, and Elector does commend Percy for what he did. So we do get this the fact that there's very little enmity between Hades and Percy. So that will come up later on when Percy sort of invades his domain later.
Yeah, you mean destroys his army?
Yes. But yes.
Yeah, Percy sends Annabeth and Grover back to camp to warn Chiron. As he basically, this is him self-sacrificing again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which he does in the book too.
Yeah, he goes to Empire State's building and, in pure Percy fashion, puts the highly dangerous weapon on the front desk.
Yep. And then he goes up to the Empire State Building.
And
I
think this is one of the first...
There is Olympus.
This is one of the first...
You are superimposing an image of Olympus here.
Yeah, I will.
Because holy shit, that's Olympus.
So this is, I think, one of the first pictures that was released when they were promoting the show, and I think we talked about it at length when the first picture first came out. But the fact that they have multiple cultures being depicted in the buildings.
There are a lot of different architectural styles on display.
Yeah, which is quite nice. That shows the migration of gods from one place to another without really spelling it
Yeah,
out.
well, because I'm looking at the main image. Like a lot of it is still Greek inspired. There's a massive triumphal arch that's Roman,
Mm-hmm.
but there are pagoda style
Yeah.
buildings, and those are East Asian in origin.
Mm-hmm.
I've also spotted another one. I've mainly looked at the right of the image most of the time. That's a lot of Asian influence there. On the left, there is a building that looks like it's copying St. Basil's Cathedral
Okay, that would
in Moscow.
Okay, that would make sense.
And then in the back, there's also a very suspicious golden dome.
Yeah. So, yeah, so as I said.
But then in the background, you see what must be old Olympus, the actual peak of the mountain.
Yes.
And it's surrounded by 12 pillars.
So the actual
crumbling pillars.
So that's where the god.
The top of Olympus is falling apart. The oldest parts of Olympus are dying off because they're all ruins. They are not top high level anymore. They are just gone. Like there's visible cracks and pieces having fallen off.
Yeah.
Which is a terrifying image when this is Olympus. And it's a very big stark contrast with the book, where the throne room is an opulent chamber.
Yeah, when Percy...
Here it's at the very top of the mountain, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, when Percy climbs it, and then we do see that the other pillars are very much falling apart.
But even at the throne room, there is debris on the ground. There are pieces of rock everywhere, and the only part that is clean is the circle of the throne itself.
The place.
And yeah, these thrones are not the colorful ones of the books. No. These are not the comical ones of the books, because that doesn't work as intimidating.
I would have loved a bit more of color, because we have...
What I find interesting is that the circle is Zeus in the middle,
Hera on the side.
Hera to his right, Poseidon on his left.
That's how the...
And then the other gods.
Yeah, that's how the...
who have very basic thrones.
Yeah.
However, and this is one thing I love, Hera is followed by 5 thrones.
Okay.
So we have 5 plus we already have 8 thrones. But it's equal on both sides.
Yeah, because
there are only 4 thrones. There are only 4 thrones on Poseidon's side, because Hestia's hearth is in the space of the 13th throne. Instead of the hearth being in the center of the room, it's in a place where a throne would be.
Yeah, it's very much like how the cabins are arranged in Camp Half-Blood, with the Zeus and Hera and Poseidon being in the middle, and then you have the 4 on each side, with even and odd numbers being there.
Yeah. But the big thing is that another thing is all the thrones are empty as they are in the book, except that Poseidon should be there, but Poseidon and Zeus are now actively fighting. Hestia's hearth is burning. The hearth is burning. That alone means
burning.
Hestia's, and that means Hestia's present. That's always a clear indicator that Hestia's present is when the hearth is burning.
Yeah.
Obviously, the hearth of Olympus is always burning, but yeah, and then
then we meet...
Sorry, I forgot. Hera is on the left, Poseidon is on the right. Poseidon has the wave throne. There's peacock eyes on Hera's. So Hera's...
Peacock, yeah.
I'm just thinking about the... Yeah, that does track.
What?
Count up the male and female gods.
Yeah, 4 and 4 on each side, and then you get 3 in the middle. So
Dionysus balances out Hestia in this way. But yeah, I do like the thrones of the big 3 are very logical.
Yeah.
Because in this scenario, Hera is a big 3.
Yeah, because it's Olympus, the 12 Olympians, you get Hera and stuff.
Poor Demeter. Always getting the short end of the stick.
Poor Demeter. That's...
Oh, and then we get our beloved Zeus.
Rest in peace. Such an amazing
character.
But yes, we get Zeus, and
Zeus is the only god in his entire show who exudes god.
I think that's why probably they didn't do it with Hades as well, because they wanted to save it for Zeus. Because having one after the other in the span of one episode would probably be.
Yes, but I like the contrast of the three brothers.
Mhm. So yeah, so Zeus is there.
But also, yeah, and Zeus is more reasonable than he was in the book.
Yeah,
Which it feels more in line with Zeus, the god of law,
Lord God of Justice. Yeah.
the god of justice. He is absolutely a vain and petty man, but he's also supposed to embody the ideals of the state.
Mhm.
He should not be a wild god.
No.
Which is and he's typically depicted as far too wrathful in the books, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do agree that his modern image is very much like tempered. Like
He is very much seen far too much as Old Testament gods.
yeah, pretty much.
Which is not Zeus.
No.
Zeus is Zeus. He sleeps with every woman he can find, often not with their consent.
To be fair,
But he is supposed to be the embodiment of the state.
Yeah, to be fair, even in Iliad, you see Zeus sort of mediating the fight between the two camps.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. He does not take a side in the Trojan War.
Yeah, and he wants to.
He's one of the few who doesn't.
Yeah, he wants to when Sarpedon is being so, but he doesn't, and Hera doesn't allow him to, basically. So yeah,
bit of a hypocritical move coming from Hera, who's actively siding with one side in this war.
I mean, see, Zeus, who's also the god of law, justice, and technically being the king of the gods, him siding with one of the sides would mean that they are winning.
Tip the balance.
Yeah, it will upset the balance. And since he also rides with Nike, who is the victory goddess, whoever he sides with, victory will be on the side of that troop, army. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. Like Zeus is basically like, I want to continue this war. I have been waiting far too long to kick my brother's ass.
Yeah.
That's basically what this comes down to, and it's a petty rivalry.
Petty brotherly rivalry.
Except they're gods, so they're going to kill thousands of mortals.
Yeah.
And then Poseidon arrives, but Zeus is about to toss the master bolt at him because it's still Zeus, and he's still a petty god.
Yeah.
And Poseidon surrenders. And I absolutely adore the way the master bolt lights up, because the spikes turn into pure lightning.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous.
Yeah. Anyway, that happens. And
sorry, I just realized another thing, that Poseidon absolutely does not look like he takes care of himself enough.
No.
Like many of the gods. Have you looked at the way his shirt looks?
No.
It's it's not looking good. It's looking like he's not ironed it in ages. Like this one. But it's a very interesting thing where he's clearly not like, he's a god. He can't just snap his fingers and it's fixed.
Yeah.
Like Zeus is in the perfect immaculate suit. And I just realized that the design on Zeus's tie can easily be seen as peacock eyes.
That would be hilarious, but yes.
Like it's a dark blue tie, but there's a design on it, and those do look a little like they could be peacock eyes. Sure, that was his 3000th wedding anniversary gift from Hera.
But anyway, that happens. But Poseidon basically saves Percy from being smited to death.
Yeah, and Zeus reluctantly stands down the war.
Then Poseidon and Percy have a heart-to-heart, which is very nice. Percy does get to see that Poseidon cares in his own messed up way.
Yeah, in his own godly way, and Poseidon doesn't put his foot in it as much as in the book.
No. And
which, again, is one of the things that Poseidon tries.
Yeah. He's
and that's the thing, the gods can be divided...
He's definitely
the gods can be divided in two camps. The gods who want to try and the gods who don't care. Poseidon cares. Hermes cares. Hephaestus cares. Athena does not care.
Yeah, pretty much. Uh, but also, we don't see the dialogue from the books where Poseidon says to Percy that Percy was a mistake, which,
Which that's a good change.
yeah, it. I mean, as I said, it's very much Poseidon propaganda. The show.
It is, but it's also a thing of
um,
Percy's relationship with the gods needs to be strengthened in the show because we don't have his internal monologue of thinking about wanting to be with his friends. So his relationship to the gods needs to be stronger.
yeah, if he's gonna defend the gods or side with the gods, he is definitely going to have to
Yeah.
build better relationships, and that's why his relationship with like Annabeth's relationship with Hephaestus, Percy's with Poseidon, Percy's with Hermes, Percy with probably Artemis and Apollo, definitely. Uh, so those will definitely come in effect when we get to eventual war between the Titans and the gods. Anyway, so
But yeah,
things happen.
that's we skip away. I like that they went with no. Sally doesn't get returned immediately.
No.
Hades will get to it.
Yeah,
But Hades does keep his word. I like that Poseidon is basically like he trusts Hades enough to return Sally eventually.
and then
But he's also like, don't worry about it. This will happen. It's Hades.
Hades feels like the god who would keep his word the most out of.
Out of the 12 plus a few,
Yeah,
yes.
pretty much.
Except Hestia, because Hestia is the best
Hestia,
year.
Hestia, yes. But yeah, Percy goes to the camp. They rejoice that the war is ended.
Yeah, we get the celebration and everything. And we go to the Hermes cabin where we discussed it. No, we haven't told Carbon about Clarice.
Yeah. And
gosh, wonder why not, Luke.
And then when Percy goes with Luke at the night, and
yes, and they do it during the fireworks, which allows them to have fancy colors in the background because they love the volume too much.
But yes, that's when Percy realizes what happened, and that Luke is the traitor. The one.
Yeah, and what I like is that they have like Luke being illuminated in a bit when Percy puts together, which emphasizes the scar.
Yeah. The scar that he was given out of his own hubris, technically.
Yes. And then Luke just goes, well, cover blown.
Yeah, and he immediately pulls out Backbiter.
Which tells you that his entire persona was a facade. If a character flips that quickly, it's a everything before must have been a facade.
Yeah, I mean he definitely cares about the demigods, but he's going about it in the absolute worst way, and the show is definitely highlighting that point way more than the books did, which we will definitely see more in the upcoming seasons. But yeah, I like the fact that he doesn't set a scorpion upon Percy, because that always seemed weird, because Kronos still thinks that he would get Percy on his side until the end of next book.
Yeah, Kronos spends the next 2 books hoping to recruit Percy, whilst Luke has done irreparable damage to the cause.
Yeah, so him not setting
it also never made much sense that Percy managed to last as long with with scorpion venom, which is supposed to take you out in 60 seconds.
I mean, to be fair, it's venom. Anyway, I'm not gonna say more. But yeah. Annabeth sees it. One of the other.
Percy is actually hard. Percy's face tells you he's heartbroken.
And when they start fighting,
but
Annabeth sees Luke and
the fact
Percy.
that Annabeth is there is horrifying to Luke.
Yeah, it's horrifying to Luke, and it's another change that I've seen people talk about, which I don't think it's that big of a change, because Annabeth can still be.
I think it's a big change, only in the sense that instead of having Annabeth say, "No, I can see," she sees it, which works a little better.
Yeah, and even in the book,
show don't tell. Don't tell. Basically,
even in the books, Percy tells Annabeth, and Annabeth believes Percy. So it's not like Annabeth does not.
Yeah, well, she goes like she wants to deny it, and then she realizes, no, I can see this.
Yeah, and then
But I think this works a little neater.
Yeah, and even then she does think that Luke is being manipulated, and that she can save Luke. which is something they can do in the show as well. With even if Annabeth has seen Luke, given that Luke is clearly not talking like he always does, which is something Annabeth knows, given that she's known Luke for like 5 years at this point. So
Mhm.
it's not that big of a change as people like to say. Anyway, then Luke goes away, and uh, basically we get this nice scene of them all going their separate ways, with Annabeth going to her parents once more, Percy sort of going to
Yeah, and
Sally, and Grover
we
getting
get this lovely thing at the tree where they're saying we're gonna unite.
Grover getting his Grover getting his searcher's license. They're gonna unite in season 4.
Yeah, and I love the Surgeon's license just being just. Of course, it's that.
They're gonna unite in season 4 now, which is quite a bit of it.
No, they're together in parts of seasons 2 and 3.
Yes, one episode of season 2 and one episode of season 3, definitely.
Well, 3 in season 2 because nobody gets the fleece.
Last episode first, and that's it. The one episode where all three of them are together.
It's fine.
But yes, so they all go their separate ways. Percy has another dream with his grandpa telling him.
One thing I will point out is that this is supposed to, because of the way when term ends at camp, it's supposed to be like August. I love that they're wearing clothing clearly made for a Canada autumn.
Yeah, they are definitely not keeping up with the timelines of solstice, because they don't mention like solstice proper. They do mention the winter solstice, but they don't mention the summer solstice, or I don't remember them mentioning it. Especially,
I do think they do.
Especially given Percy leaves his school halfway through the year, or like near the
No,
end
it's
of the year.
clearly towards the end of the year because it's clearly already close to summer.
Mhm.
I think they do mention the summer solstice.
Okay,
It's more a thing of when they separate, it's very clearly autumn.
okay, that's fair.
Just by the way, the clothing they're wearing, and it's quite funny.
Mhm. But yeah, that happens. Another dream with Kronos telling Percy to take care of his
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah, and the big thing is that we think it's Percy just coming home to Montauk, and
It
well,
turns out to be Kronos' dream.
it's a dream, and it's actually farther into the future than we thought. Yeah, and then we get Kronos
telling Percy that.
I like that they've given Kronos a physical manifestation in these dreams.
Yeah, even
instead
if it's
of just
not
being
visible,
a disembodied voice.
Yeah, even if it's not like visible as one, like as even if we don't know, we don't see his face, he's still there. That's something that helps like anchor the voice, something that you wouldn't really be able to do in your in like a disembodied voice kind of way that is possible in books. But yeah, that happens. We see that Sally is back, and that's how
we see Sally. Yeah, we see Sally making blue pancakes,
and in the sort of post credit scene, like mid credit scene, we do see Gabe meeting his fate, the same fate that he met in books, except in a different way. Instead of Sally doing it,
except it's not murder by Sally, it's Poseidon being a vindictive ass.
Yeah, another thing that never sits right with people is that Sally did murder Gabe. Especially, it's good for children's book, but it's definitely not good for a wider audience. Given that, I remember there was a quote in the notes I sent you from Tolkien's letter on fairy stories, where he quotes Chesterton saying, "For children are innocent and love justice, while most of us are wicked and naturally prefer mercy." And so, given we are grown-ups, we are not really 10 years to 11 years old anymore, which we are not 10, 11 years old anymore. We are not in our teens anymore. Let's say that.
Yeah, shut up.
So we have definitely. Okay, let's reframe it by saying that the show has a wider audience than the books. That works. So, from that perspective, having Sally's character not be tainted by this one evil really scene, because both of us do not approve of murder, no matter what circumstances, other than in self-defense. But yeah, So that being her character being tainted by this one evil act doesn't sit right with people. So getting his own comeuppance in his own greedy way, that he opens Percy's packet to see what's in there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how the
Yep. That's the show.
That's the show.
So far.
Yeah.
And in what did you look at it? 12 hours. The next
Yeah, but-
season release for 2 episodes.
Yeah, but yeah,
And we've recorded for 2.5 hours.
yeah, but yeah. So that's the show, season 1, with which I think both of us liked for the most part. There are definitely things that we don't like.
Yeah, we liked 80% of it basically.
Yeah, both of us, I think, ended up giving it.
I generally am more. I generally am more generous with my grades than you are.
Yeah, I think I gave it like.
That's because you were just too critical for your own good.
I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10.
I think I gave it a 7.5, 8.
Yeah.
Episode 7 drags it down a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a good adaptation. It could have been better, definitely, as we talked about things that could have been changed. But it's better than like most adaptations out there if you see today.
And it's about 1 billion times better than the first film,
which I've not seen and I'll never see.
The only thing there are I hate to say it, that the only thing that I can think of that the first film did better is the sticks, because they made the sticks very interesting. They made everything on the boat too hellish, but they kept the sticks as being filled with lost hopes and dreams, basically.
I've also seen people prefer the movies Little Casino scene with them effectively getting high.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because it makes it too adult.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the show, and let's see what the season 2 brings us, which we'll probably come back to after it ends, because I don't have the energy to do an episode by episode recording.
No, because we'll be here for ages.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it at the end of the season, mostly. But yeah, see you next time.
How about that?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.